Okay. So are we just using the microphone on here?
Oh my gosh.
It's fine if we are, because I'm assuming this picks up sound, right?
It's not really good.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Might be nice.
Because I can't do this because this isn't my. That's
Oh no, I know.
Like, I can't.
Oh no, I'm not saying you.
No, I know. I'm like, if I knew.
I'm saying specialized staff to help with it. Instead of the mayor.
Yeah.
So we're going to this meeting.
And they're in order. The agendas are in order on your thing. You're basically just going to go through it and then go through the next one. Like it's not. It's just like a second short meeting. You should. Yes. Nope. You should be able to. That's the next thing I'm going to test. Is make sure that that works. Next. I'll play this game again.
Yeah.
See the light off.
Not in the CRA. So the first meeting is community redevelopment agency. That's going to be pretty short, and then after that, the council for the regular, so it'll be the regular.
The CRA agenda. It does have, they have public input. I would make it clear that that is specifically for CRA items. Those are not for items that are on like the regular council meeting agenda. So because people might think, well, actually, we have. Never mind. We're good.
Okay.
So you can just tell them, don't worry, the comments that everyone sent. I'm gonna find anything the other wall.
Testing. Testing. Actually, I'm gonna put this on the other side.
These are all the business cards.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cassandra, the reason why Cassandra was here.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm doing good. What are you up to today? We got you on the agenda, don't we?
I have some presentation.
I'll allow it. You know what?
She's asked me.
Here, I'll train you. You gotta have fresh breath.
yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that.
How are you, man?
Good to see you here today.
How are you? How are you, sir?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
You guys take my. Anybody that takes chocolate. Here, I'll tell you
Oh, I
what.
already gave him one of mine.
I'll tell you what. I like these. I gotta give you my photo. Thank you. You know, in some places just you give and nothing back, you know?
So here we are. Look at that.
Give. I tell you right now. Thank you, guys. What you say?
You guys are $1,000
Oh,
left.
thank you.
Is that right? That's amazing.
Chocolate always is welcome,
Oh,
no?
yes, of course.
Oh, I have one more. There she is.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Let me get.
We're gonna start
All right.
right now.
I'll take it, right? I was like, yeah, I might be switching to Allstate. Yeah, Kenny looks like he's gonna save me like $500 or $600. We'll see though.
It's not recording. Good. Right. Good. So we're live on YouTube. We're good there. Whenever you'd like to start, let me know.
So start the
I will
CRA.
get this one. So we'll start it, just go through the agenda, like we're in a normal meeting. Like I said, the public comments, you can say, you can say all the comments. This is CRA meeting. So we'll just say the public comments that have been. Don't worry.
Just as there is a regular council meeting. Are
And
you
then just go through the
implying
minutes.
you can't assume?
You
You
want.
can't assume. Remember when you assumed something and I had to tell you that you didn't know that it's not? God damn it.
And then, yeah, but I'll come up here and do this real quick. I'll switch it. And then you'll be good to go. Just do the regular meeting.
Okay.
You,
I forgot the map again. It's in my car.
And then if anyone, we'll have the public comment over there, but anyone presenting will have it over here, so they've got computers.
Okay.
And I'll say something.
Okay.
So I'll wait till you see you're ready to go.
I'm ready.
Okay, you guys are good to go for the CRA, and I'll cut and switch it out.
Okay.
All right, good evening, everybody. Today we're going to start with our City of Kearns Community and Reinvestment Meeting Agency agenda. So this will happen before our City Council meeting. So I'd like to call to order and determine that we have a quorum, which we have everybody here today. Any public comment, we're going to save that for the City Council meeting. So just so you guys are aware, that will be saved for the City Council meeting, not this meeting. And then we can go ahead and look over the agenda, September 8th, 2025, the CRA meeting minutes. Did you guys see those and review them?
I make a motion that we approve our September 8th, 2025 CRA meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All righty, and then let's go ahead and move on to board business, long-range planning and economic development updates with Matt Starley.
That's in our regular meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the time. My name is Matthew Sarley. I'm the interim long-range planning manager at the MSD. So in that function, I serve the city of Kearns in long-range planning. And so in that role, what I wanted to do today is just kind of give you guys a little bit of background on some of the things that we've been working with or working towards with the Kearns Town Center. And so what we're going to want to look at is the existing conditions, the opportunities that have been identified as far as previous plans and things like that. Some ways that we are thinking about updating that previous plan, and then a little bit about what the next steps might be as far as town center redevelopment. So existing conditions in the town center, there's great businesses, you know, a lot of activity down there. But Kearns has been thinking about a redevelopment of this town center for a lot of years. And those of you who are Kearns residents can probably attest to that. There's some challenges, like right now, it's kind of disconnected from the street network. 5400 is such a major corridor that drags a lot of traffic through Kearns, but we don't get enough of it stopping within our town center to get the kind of economic performance that Kearns needs. You know, one of the challenges that Kearns runs into as a community is it's nearly completely built out, which makes it one of the densest communities in Utah. It might be the first or second most dense, which would be surprising because we're all mostly detached single-family homes in the community. So, you know, previous efforts have built off, you know, what's existing in there. Currently in our town center, we have maybe one household. It supports about 450 jobs, a lot of parking, more parking than would be required by about 500 parking spots. And then has a fair bit of retail, a little bit of office, a small hotel space, and not too much else inside of there. So with this, what we're trying to do is emphasize to the community the importance of taxable value within the community. And so there's really two ways that communities can gain taxable value. It's through property taxes and through sales taxes. And interestingly, you know, Kearns had a downtown plan. It was completed in 2019, and then later MSD staff, if some of you remember when Cable was here, came and did, you know, kind of the transportation hub and did a lot of visioning and worked with the community on this plan. The problem is it was finished right pre-COVID. And so since COVID, the market's changed a lot. You know, not a lot of people are going into offices. They're doing a lot less traveling to retail locations to do their shopping. So the strategy to make a marketable town center has kind of changed since then. And there's really two ways. You know, I talked about property tax and sales tax being the way that the city can earn additional revenue. The interesting thing about sales tax now is a lot of it occurs in your house. So when you're clicking and buying things from Amazon or Target or whatever online shopping that you do, that point of sale is really occurring in your home, you know, where that's taking place. So you can bring in more retail or you can bring in more houses, and being that we're built out, houses probably need to go up. And so that's kind of the difference between the 2019 plan and some of the updates that we're suggesting, you know, in the future, is that instead of having that office space go up over the top of that retail, you know, environment, town center, it would be residential space. And that's twofold. It gives the businesses that'll be there in the future an opportunity to have a customer base that's right there and can keep an eye on the street and lives in the community and cares about the town center. And then B, you capture all that retail tax in the space that's designed to maintain it. You know, so, you know, we all know the headaches that come along with higher density housing. But here in our town center, it's right next to Baylor Highway. It's got the 5400 corridor going through it. Of all the spaces in Kearns, it kind of makes the most sense for an increased level of development or redevelopment where possible. And so what we've been doing is trying to work into a update to that plan. And so this one that you're looking at is our highest density option. So we kind of worked going, what would the maximum density that Kearns Town Center mixed use allow for in this area? And now what we're trying to do is reconcile those types of plans with market analysis and things like that. That'll give us good targets for, do we need a hotel in Kearns? Do we need a movie theater? Can we support a big box retailer or grocery store, things like that? That'll give us kind of more actionable targets within some sort of a development scheme. And so just to kind of compare existing, how many jobs and how many households that would support. In the end, you get significantly more households and significantly more jobs, you know, around 1,500 homes at its possible densest and 1,500 jobs, which is a lot because it's a change for the community and kind of a change for the character of that area. But also goes a long way to supporting Kearns' goal of being more financially stable and bringing in more sales tax revenue and property tax revenue potentially. So that's really the update that I wanted to share with you now. There's a lot of strategies that we can pursue in order to, you know, attain this growth. And then next steps will be, like I was talking about, trying to identify those anchor uses and tenants that could support some of this development. Finalize a master plan update, and then rezone the town center area accordingly so that we can kind of try and direct new development towards our overall town goals. Any questions?
Council, do you have any questions?
Maybe I can.
I should let you
I don't believe the council has any questions. Lauren, Crystal?
I don't have any.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks for your time.
All right, with that, we can go ahead and adjourn. Move into our city council meeting. Yes.
I'll make a motion that we close out of the special meeting and go into our standard meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Just like, you know.
All right, I'd like to call the Kearns City Council meeting to order. Tonight is May 11th, 2026. Thank you guys for being here today. We have a full quorum, so we're good on that. And then we will just start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I do recognize we have a visiting official, Carlos Moreno from Salt Lake County Council. Thanks for being here today. We appreciate being here, Carlos. All right, and we also have for citizen public input, we have some comment cards. And we will now start that. Do you want to get the timing, Patrick? Okay. And you guys will have 3 minutes, and I'll start with what I have here. First is Miranda Giles. If you want to come up.
Miranda Giles, this day and every day.
I apologize.
It's okay.
If you want to state your.
Resident of Kearns and also trustee on the Kearns Improvement District Board. I'd like to speak about the upcoming discussion about the community energy program. And I just want to point out, I know this is likely to get to be maybe a controversial or heated topic. And I want to remind the citizens of Kearns and all citizens of Utah that it is quite unfair for Rocky Mountain Power to be putting this discussion on our hands when they are a billion-dollar organization that could very easily upgrade this infrastructure themselves. So just keep that in mind as we, as community members, have to bear the brunt of making decisions that should be not on us. And we're all on the same page here. We all care about each other. We all care about our community. We are citizens generally trying to just keep our head above water. And ultimately, whether we pass this $4 fee or not, it's in our best interest to care for our community, care for each other, work towards a greener future. And I just wanted to say that as we get started.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Casey Saxton.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. And like Miranda, I would like to address you on the same topic. And let me just preface my comments with my appreciation for you guys and the service you give to our city. I know it's not an easy job, and sometimes you get emails from people like me about things that you are considering. But I wanted to encourage you to vote no today on the Community Clean Energy Program. And there's lots of there's lots of details about this program, but I just wanted to hyper focus in on 3 that I would hope I'm encouraging you to consider when you vote on this today. So the first is that energy prices right now in our country are sky high. And though $4 a month increase may not be much in the short term, In the long term, it does add up. And I would hate for our city government to be one reason why cost of living goes up for Kearns residents. So on that front, I just simply don't think that it's necessary, nor is it perhaps appropriate for the city to do this. The second is, I believe the program is structurally flawed. With automatically opting in, with your vote today, if you choose to move forward, it automatically opts in every single Kearns household and every single Kearns business. So you automatically opt them in and then push the burden on them if they don't want to participate to opt out. And I think that is fundamentally flawed in how government should work. If we want to encourage behavior or we want to do something, we should invite people to participate as opposed to automatically opting them all in. And I know why that's the case. This program does not pencil if they don't automatically opt everyone in. And personally, I think it is unfair to the people who aren't plugged in and paying attention day to day. Probably the 99 out of 100 people like in our citizens in that ratio have no idea this vote is happening. They have no idea their electricity bills will increase because of the vote of this body today. So on that front, I don't think it's fair. The last thing is I wanted to point out parity with our neighbors. There is no other city on the west side that is considering opting into this program. So our residents will pay more for electricity compared to our neighbors in West Valley City, in Magna, in West Jordan, in Taylorsville, and far beyond. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind and again, encourage you to vote no today to help keep our cost of living as low as possible and don't be part of the reason why cost of living goes up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Casey. All right, next is Darren Nerdin.
Good evening, council, citizens, and public officials. Darren Nerdin, resident of Kearns. Like to just briefly talk on a few subjects. And you know, my first one's my favorite one is trees because I'm an arborist and a forester. This drought has just it's made it challenging. I have like 7 trees that are ready to go into a park. We're trying to look at putting them in Mountain Man Park, but we're concerned about aftercare and you know, if we're gonna cut water, it won't be good for the trees. So we're kind of looking at that and maybe even moving them to a place that gets more water. And I'm having a difficult time cooperating with the county, and Tree Utah has said that they will help be a liaison between us and the county. And speaking of Tree Utah, they put in 75 trees at Oker Park, if anyone has ever been up there. They are wanting to put in another 50. And so if you know of a service group that wants to plant a few trees, just contact Tree Utah at treeutah.org. And we're grateful for Tree Utah for helping with that. And my next topic is trails, and I've talked to a few people about this. And one of the master plans for trails on the state, they were proposing putting a trail along the railroad tracks through our community, and that's kind of fallen off. But I'd like to encourage anyone who has influence over that to encourage a trail being put there. It's right in the center of our community, and it will link to the canal trail to our north, and the canal trail goes up to the Mountain View Trail, and the Mountain View Trail will go down to the Crosstown Trail, which links to the Jordan River Parkway. So we could have a dedicated bike lane that goes to Jordan River Trail if we have a trail that's in our community. And you look at other communities like Harriman, Draper, Sandy, Salt Lake, they have trails, and you know, they're more pedestrian friendly, and we need to be moving towards that in our community. So that's my proposal. And the third thing I'd like to talk about is parking. And I know we've beaten this one to death, but I was driving in yesterday in my neighborhood, and there was another car coming the other way, and I was like, and I was watching to see what they would do, whether they'd pull over and let me through, or if they were expecting me to pull over. And as soon as I figured it was, I had to pull over, there is a kid that just about pulled out in front of me on the road. And you know, when we're so hyper focused on the car coming the other way, that's bringing up other safety concerns. And so we need to do something about the parking. And my proposal is doing the odd even thing. Allow cars to park on the odd side of the road on odd days, and even side of the road even days.
Thank you, Darren.
Oh, we're done? Thank you.
All right, next is Larry Maloney.
All right. I'm Larry Maloney. I'm a resident of Kearns for over 45 years. My biggest concern is this city administrator that you're hiring. I mean, if it's because we're going to get the Olympics, the infrastructure is already here. I was here when we did 2002. I was involved. I handled all the vending at all the venues, every venue. The biggest issue is security. The only problem, you're not going to find anything about that for 2 years before the Olympics start. I mean, I don't see a reason to pay anybody that kind of money. You're looking at basically paying somebody for 8 years, $1 million. And basically, all they can do is keep communicating with the Olympic Committee and get money. I just would like your reasoning on this. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. All right, next is Cassandra. Cassandra, I always forget.
Yes.
Cassandra, but I always want to call you Cassandra. I apologize.
Yeah, it's Cassandra.
Cassandra.
You're good. You're good. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the Kearns community. My name is Cassandra Hodges, and I am speaking tonight regarding the proposed Community Clean Energy Program involving Rocky Mountain and Utah Renewable Communities. Over the past month, I have taken the time to research this program when it was first discussed in the City of Kearns Council meeting. The more I have learned, the more concerned I have become. Not about renewable energy itself, but about the way this program is being implemented and forced upon residents throughout automatic enrollment. Let me be clear, supporting clear energy and supporting this program are not the same thing. I believe in innovation, cleaner energy development, and protecting our environment for future generations. But I also believe residents should have informed consent and the freedom to choose what programs they participate in without being automatically enrolled first and then forced to opt out later. Under this program, nearly all Rocky Mountain Power customers in participating communities will automatically be enrolled beginning in early 2027, unless they take action to opt out. Residents will only have a 6-month window to opt out for free. After that, residential customers face $30 fee to leave the program. That raises major concern about transparency and accountability. Many residents, especially seniors, business families, and those without reliable internet access may not fully understand the notice they receive or even realize they were enrolled in the first place. A utility bill is not the place for hidden assumptions or passive consent. If this program is truly beneficial and broadly supported, then why not allow residents to voluntarily opt in instead of automatically enrolling everyone and making them opt out? Even some supporters of the program have admitted they personally would not have preferred opt-in system. That alone should tell us something. I am also concerned about the financial impact. While supporters described the fee as only $4 per month. Families across Utah are already struggling with raising costs of housing, groceries, utilities, and fuel. Small additional fees add up quickly over time, especially when future costs are still uncertain. We are also being asked to trust Rocky Mountain Power and long-term projections at a time when energy markets remain unstable and unpredictable. Residents deserve clear answers about future pricing, oversight, accountability, and exactly where their additional funds will go. This is not about being anti-environment or anti-renewable energy. This is about protecting transparency, consumer choice, and the right of residents to decide what programs they participate in before they are automatically signed up. Government and utility companies should not be making decisions first and expecting residents to fix it later by opting out. I encourage the City of Kearns Council to stand with residents, support transparency, and advocate for a true opt-in system that respects individual choices and informed consent. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right, that's the end of our public comments. Does any of our counts, since many of them were on the renewable energy, we can hold that when we get into discussion. But do we have comments on anything else?
There's a young man who may not have filled out cards or. You don't have to.
You're fine, you're fine.
You can go up there.
Sorry, my knees are killing me. My name is Mike Franson. I was the chairman of the Kearns Planning Commission, chairman of the board. I'm also a journeyman iron worker and journeyman electrician. I've worked with, I'm also a resident of Kearns, been a resident all my life. Raised my family here, and my grandkids are being raised here. And I wholeheartedly agree with Cassandra and the presentation that she's offered up to you guys. I would like to give you my perspective. I've worked with Rocky Mountain Power in a professional atmosphere, and they're not the highest rated people to work with. As far as this proposition goes, I would highly recommend you guys do not sign us up for something we don't want. I have installed solar. I've done it. I'm very good at it. Okay, if people want solar, there's plenty of companies that they can call to get solar. We get no benefit as a community. We get no benefit from this, but we do get to pay for it. So I would please advocate for a no vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else? Okay, for future reference, we do want people to fill out these comment cards. It makes the process go faster, but we appreciate it. You're okay. It's still in progress, so we can continue. Thank you. Okay, Jenny.
Okay. I just wanted to echo everything that I've heard from all the other residents here. Sorry, my name is Jenny Williams. I'm in District 2, 5156 South, 4420 West. I've done extensive research on this program as well. While it was not Rocky Mountain Power who initiated it, the state legislature did and compelled Rocky Mountain Power to put into place some renewable energy options. Rocky Mountain Power didn't have any renewable energy plans for Utah until 2047. So this is another way that the state is trying to compel a large entity to put in place a program that is not good for the residents. In my research, I have found that the wind farms and the solar farms that are in Utah right now by Rocky Mountain Power are selling off the power to other states. There's no guarantee that they are going to put into place renewable energy that will benefit us in any way, especially us at Kearns. If they were to benefit, it might be larger cities and municipalities. We're not going to see any benefit of that. Sorry, I have bronchitis. There's also nowhere in my research did I find who is choosing what renewable programs will be initiated, how they're being built, how they're being awarded, and how much money. There's also an upfront cost that the city has to pay in my research. And I want to know what city budget are you planning to take that, whatever it is, $700,000. And then it's going to cost a little under $300,000 just to send out the opt-out. This is a money suck, and it's not for Kearns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Is there anybody else that wanted to speak on this? Those that have spoke, if you could still fill out a comment card, that way we just have it. It should be in the back, just so we have it.
We like to track it.
Yes. But you can do that afterwards. You don't have to do that right now. Is there anybody else that wanted to speak on this before we move forward? Okay. Council members, I know most of these are about what we will be discussing later on, so we don't need to discuss them now, but we could make comments to the other ones, such as.
Wait till it's actually on the agenda.
Okay.
Stay along with the agenda for right now.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay. All right. We will move forward then. All right. Now we are into section 6 on approval of city council meeting minutes of April 13th, 2026. Have you guys reviewed this and are we able to move forward?
I say we approve the minutes for April 13th, 2026.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will go ahead and continue to move forward. We have no discussions on workshop, so we will go ahead and move on with section 8, presentation items, council presentation, Carlos Moreno with the county.
Which one? There's some of it after. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your service. I really appreciate everything that you do for the city. I'm Carlos Moreno. I'm the county councilman for District 2. District 2 is from Harriman to Magna. It's Magna, South Jordan, West Jordan, Copperton, Kearns, Magna, West Valley. It's huge and it's very diverse in many ways. And I try to do my best being everywhere. But thank you for the opportunity. I don't know, do we have the presentation? The staff in the county send a presentation, but I can talk forever you want. Thank you.
What? I can look at my email. I don't have anything saved. What was the name that it would have come from?
Alicia.
ALIC or EC?
ALE.
So you remember the contact. Let me see real quick.
Thank you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. She didn't send me anything.
She sent it to the mayor.
She may have sent it to me, but I didn't get it until.
You know what, Mayor? Let's talk. My presentation, I would love to have the presentation there for our fellow constituent, but it's fine.
You want me to forward it really quick?
I don't know. I don't want to make this agenda busy. I know that you. Yeah.
We're quick.
Thank you.
Here, how about we do this? We'll move on to Corey and then we'll come back to you and then
Sure.
then you can come back.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Apologize for that, Carlos.
No, thank you.
So we'll hear from Corey with updates up on the Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Corey Holdaway, lobbyist for Kearns. I see that your agenda is very full, so I will be very, very quick. I just wanted to take the opportunity to just inform the council and citizens of Kearns about a few things that were important for the city. There were a couple of bills that were of import. A bill by Candace Perucci dealing with charter school amendments. That bill would have prohibited or put, the bill didn't pass, so it left Kearns in a good spot. I'll just leave it at that. The other bill, the Special Service District bill by, again, Representative Perucci, this bill had the potential to have a pretty drastic effect on public safety and the costs for public safety for the citizens. This bill, ultimately, that portion of the bill was taken out of the bill. It was left mainly with special service districts dealing with trash collection, and then it gave the county an option to be able to withdraw from public safety special service districts in the future with fiscal impacts being evaluated, so that the city would be able to respond to that. In addition to that, there are just a couple of other bills that I want to just draw. I gave to you a packet from the League of Cities and Towns. The League of Cities and Towns is an organization that Kearns is a member of that allows us to punch above our weight. We are, as a member of the League of Cities and Towns, along with the 200 and some other number, I think 234 other cities in the state. The League represents those interests unique to city government, and helps us to kind of keep our thumb on what the legislators are trying to do. The packet that I provided to you is the closing packet for the League. It lists some of the key bills that were in that this past legislative session. I want to just highlight two that I think are of particular importance. On the third page, page 9, House Bill 507, it's a state coordination of regional and local economic development projects. Going along with the previous presentation that was made, I think this is something that the city needs to be aware of, and to the extent that we can, or that you can, assert yourself to be able to access funds from this particular coordinating council. In addition to that, going along those same lines, there's a transportation bill that I want to draw your attention to. It's about halfway through, page 20 of the document. House Bill 492 is transportation infrastructure and housing amendments. This provides an investment fund for cities to access I think it was about $100 million that the legislature set aside that the city may be able to tap into. So with that, just a couple of other points I want to make. It is an election year. The legislature is up for election. I would encourage citizens in the audience, and particularly the council, to get involved in that legislative elections. And because it's during an election season that you have the greatest impact in terms of influence. And then the last point that I would make is, in addition to the League of Cities and Towns, there's another group that I think it might be behooving on the city to maybe consider a little greater involvement, and that would be Chamber West. Chamber West does a great job representing the west side of Salt Lake County, the communities of Kearns, Taylorsville, West Jordan, West Valley City, and Magna. And if you have questions about that, in fact, a little self-interest here, I serve on the Chamber West board, so full disclosure there. But they do have a legislative affairs committee that meets regularly through the year, and then quite frequently during the legislative session, that allows us to give this area a little stronger voice. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
How long have you been on Chamber West?
I've been serving on Chamber West for, I think, 6 or 8 years, something like that. Yeah. So I help with their legislative affairs. Fancy that. Any other questions I can answer?
You talked about House Bill 492. Is this the one? We went over a lot of House bills this year. Is it the low-income housing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it has to do with housing. Let me just read one thing related to that bill. It says convention center funding beginning 2028, the bill allocates $50 million annually from the Transportation Investment Fund of 2005 to the Convention Center restricted account for revitalization of Convention Center. This was mainly to deal with Salt Lake City, but I think there may be an opportunity for us to tap into some funds for this area as well, given the dynamics as far as the oval and the like.
Absolutely.
So,
Awesome. Thank you, Corey.
all right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Carlos. Again, I apologize, Carlos and Diana.
You're fine. We're just, this way he can control this presentation. He can talk about that.
You win. It's my sourdough starter. I've named her Bevagento.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Mayor. Like I said, Carlos Moreno, I represent the District 2 in the county. Actually, the city of Kearns is my district, and I'm really proud to represent Kearns in the county. This is a brief update about what I'm doing right now in the county, especially this year, past year. I started my first term in 2025, and now it's time to come here to show you what I've been doing. As a county member, I'm part of the ESLA Visa. This is an entity that oversees funding for police services in areas like Magna, Kearns, White City, Copperton, Immigration Canyon, Princeton, and unincorporated Salt Lake County. It's essential that this time serving this organization, this entity, is essential because I can represent your voice in this organization and how we manage this big budget for law enforcement in this organization. Actually, I want to make this clear. I don't represent the county in this organization. I represent you. I represent my constituents. And I want to make this clarification. I represent you. And this is kind of what we do, our statutory duties in the county. We work with public safety, operate the jail, run elections, collect property taxes, criminal justice system, provide a health department, mental health authority, and Meals on Wheels for seniors, parks, trails and canyons, preserve land records, flood control, recreation center, libraries, and convention centers. In 2025, that was the fiscal effort. We cut the mayor administration budget. Also, we transitioned subsidizing childcare to public and private partnership, through salaries of elected officials, and the Biden era program founded by COVID. I want to make sure that because COVID, the federal government sent millions of dollars for the county to distribute in programs. The money is out. We don't have any more that money, but the county is still having those programs, and we decided to stop it because we don't have that money. Move Clark Planetarium from property taxes to tourism, recreation, culture, and convention, call it TRCC. Opening the new pod on the Oxbow jail. This is having this is the crisis that we are living in the county. The lack of leadership that we have had in more than 10 years create this crisis that we are living in this area. We used to work in this specific topic, creating more space for the jail a decade ago, and now it's overwhelming what happened there. Addressing, I can tell you more about things. Infrastructure, complete the partly multi-use trail, and also the current Lodestone Trail system. We saved the Abraham Hall, began working downtown entertaining district. This is good for the county because we can bring more businesses and special treatment for businesses, and we can create wealth. We have more and more accomplishment. We legislatively intend to protect trees on the county property, resolution to protect the Great Salt Lake. And after this resolution was maybe interesting timing, but after this resolution, President Trump made 2 comments about the Great Salt Lake and save the Great Salt Lake. Continued progress to several library projects, investment in trail, infrastructure, and events. And this is, I sponsor some proclamations. The National Day of Prayer. Just for let you know, I'm working right now directly with a group of pastors, and I'm part of that organization. And this organization made really good things in the community, especially charity, the Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation, the Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the Women's Day proclamation. We did an incredible, we have done this, the proclamation 2 years in a row, especially for women. I came from a family where we respect women and we highlight those women who make really good things in the community. We have people from Kearns in that day. Also, victim of communism resolution, and this is something kind of personal. I came from Venezuela, where this kind of regime take over, and it's miserable. And victim of communism was a big, very emotional thing for me, especially in the county. Actually, one member in the county voted against that, voted no, and that was really surprising. Having someone in the county voting no against celebrating or make a respect to the victim of communism resolution. This is part of what we did in the current Lodestone Trail expansion. I had the opportunity to prove my cardio there. It's bad. That was like a 5 minutes bicycle thing, but it was really good having fun with all the families in that activity. Community engagement. I am trying to be everywhere. Some people, I'm different. I want to be with you. I want to be with my constituents. I tell people, maybe my English is not eloquent, but my work is eloquent. I want to be with you. I want to listen. When you are an English speaker person, you develop more the listening, the more the talking to people, And that's why I'm everywhere. I try to be with my constituents. I try to listen to you because you are my boss. You are my boss, not everybody else, not someone else. I have been visiting churches, schools, community gathering, and also creating bridges between the community, helping the community to be connected with the elected officers. It's important that you are aware about what happened, and this is great because I listen to the public comments and I'm really impressed about Kearns. And one more thing, and that's going to be the last one because my presentation ends. I was the only member in the council who voted no for the tax increase. I have many reasons for I voted no. But the main reason came from Kearns. I went to a gathering in a meeting, a public meeting, and one person in his middle 70s approached me. And this person told me, a man, really tough guy. And this person told me, Carlos, you're Carlos, not Carlos Moreno. Yes, I'm Carlos Moreno. He shook my hand like a strong. And this person told me, Carlos, I want to talk to you. I hear that the county is going to increase taxes. Is this going to happen? How are you going to vote? And I was like, well, I'm gonna vote no. That I promised in my campaign I'm gonna vote no for this kind of thing, especially if my families, if my people in the county and my constituents are tightening their belt in their budget, the government cannot bring more money from them. I don't believe in that. And this person took my shoulders. And with his eyes full of water, I don't know, like crying, told me, Carlos, my wife and I, we cannot afford any more tax increase. We cannot give to the government one more penny. Please vote no. And my heart was pumping like a boom, 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 really hard because that man gave me a lesson in 2 lines. And that's why I voted no. And I'm here to listen to my constituents. Like I said from the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, you are my boss. I am not representing anybody else. I'm representing you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carlos, so much.
Any question?
Council, do we have any questions for Carlos?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to say thank you for coming out and taking the time. We appreciate it.
Oh, Carlos.
Carlos.
I want to say thank you, Carlos, for posting that this morning. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here. I appreciate your,
For what?
on Facebook, I saw.
Oh.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of us don't know about it, so I appreciate you doing that.
All right, now we are going to move forward with Nathan on City Code Statement Project updates.
So as the council may know, I put together several code restatements, which I sent to you to look at. Been waiting for the MSD to get back to me on. They got back with me last week on the big one, which is Title 14. That's the engineering standards. So they have, what we're talking about now is they've taken basically all the engineering standards from Title 14 and placed them into a manual, which I'm looking at now. So that will need to go through the planning commission before it comes to you because it'll be a land use regulation. So that's the latest update on that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and move to council business action items. Diana, I want to shake things up a little bit. Because I know we have some important discussions on here, I would like that we postpone items J, K, and L in section 9, and then that we move D, E, and F towards the end for an easy transition going into the stakeholders. Could we do that?
Yes,
It can hurt to have a motion to table those 3 items and then a motion to reorganize the agenda.
I make a motion that we postpone J, K, and L, and that we rearrange our agenda.
Move DE, to move DE and F to that place.
Is that what you want to do? Yeah.
Need to add that.
And what?
To move DE and F into his place.
And then move D, E, and F to the bottom.
I was going to say as discussed previously.
As discussed previously. There we go. Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One thing as well, Diana, with the stakeholder reports, could we also flip that, reverse it so it flows better? Do we also need to say that?
No, that I think is tough.
It's
I
fine.
made a note for next time.
Okay, so that's, when we get to stakeholder reports, just so you know, we're gonna go with unified first because it'll naturally just transition to that. That way people don't need us.
Do we flip it and reverse it? Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Okay.
yelling a joke.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm just looking to provide more time since today is very, we're gonna be in discussion on some more topics. So thank you, Daniel, for being here today.
Thank you. So I'm here to present 2 things. First, I'm going to talk about our quarterly financials. It is part of our requirements to come and present financials, talk about the financial health of Kearns. and then we're going to talk about the budget for next fiscal year. So for those of you who don't know, we operate on a fiscal year. That means our financials start July 1st and go all the way around the year and end June 30th. So we're actually coming up on the end of our current fiscal year. I'm here to present Q3, which would be January through March of this year, and talk a little bit about the finances. So I do have financial statements, and I'll show those to you in a second, but I just thought some graphs would be really helpful, just kind of seeing where we're at. Currently, so far this year, we've collected 7.4 million in revenue. We budgeted 12. We're a little bit below what we were expecting. We've only collected 62% of what we were expecting in our budget. That is okay. If we were in a really tight fiscal year, that wouldn't be so good, but we have plenty of finances, so that's not going to be an issue. In terms of expenses, this is just the admin budget only. So far, you've spent $447,000 as part of your admin budget. The budget is 1.2 million. You've only spent 37% of your budget so far this year. You're projected to spend about 55% by the end of the year. This last quarter, Q4, we generally do spend more, just because coming into summer, more things happen during the summer. But I'm still projecting that you're only going to spend about 55% of your current admin budget. Let's talk a little bit about a breakdown. I'm sorry if some of these charts are a little hard to see. What makes up the revenues for Kearns? Your 69% comes from sales tax. That is your biggest revenue producer. Your next one is road funds. So when people go buy gasoline, what happens is all those gas taxes go to the state tax commission. The tax commission does some formulas based on how many roads and how long your roads are within your community, and then they give out those funds. So 21% of our funds are called road funds or road taxes. And we have a few small other things like corridor funds, transit tax. We do charge some, yes. We do also have some license and permits, but majority is sales tax and road taxes. For those of you who may not know, the city is not run on property taxes at all. Other agencies charge property taxes. We are not currently charging property taxes. In terms of expenses for the admin budget, your biggest expenses relate to attorney and other professional fees, wages, software and subscriptions, election fees, election costs. So every several years when we have election, there are a lot of election costs that go along with that. Perfect. You can see all the other ones here. If you want any more details on any of these, I can provide that to you guys. And those are our main revenues and expenses.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paula. Thank you.
See it much better. Okay. All right.
So this here is the financial statement I'm required to provide it to you. It is a lot of numbers. Financial statements are generally made for accountants, and they can be a little confusing. So one of the things I try to always do is I like to highlight the numbers that are the most important to understand and keep a note on. We have within Kearns, we have 4 funds. A fund is just best described as a pool of money. And we keep them separate because they need to be used for different things. So our main fund is the City of Kearns Fund. And that's what's paying for the admin budget. You currently in cash, you have 1.7 million in cash. And we always want to check the fund balance. That tells you if you're positive or negative. You are positive. You're positive 3.49 million. So that's very good. We have a lot of funds we can use for capital projects. Some of these funds are restricted. We're only allowed to use them for very certain specific things, like the corridor preservation funds. But we do have funds available to use within Kearns. Here are these revenues we just talked about. We saw in the graphs. I highlighted the main ones. There's your admin budget. Once again, 447,000. Change in net position. That is a fancy word of saying revenues minus expenses. You have money left over, or are you in the hole? You are 996,000 positive. So you're spending less than you're bringing in. This is your second fund. This is the Kearns Beer Tax Special Fund. So once a year, you receive some from the sale of alcohol within the state. You receive some tax revenue from that to use to better your community. We try very hard to keep those funds separate from all other funds. So you have 30,643 that you are allowed to use. Your third fund, that's weird. Your third fund is this one. It's Fund 54. This is your Kearns Community Reinvestment Agency Fund. Currently, we haven't put any funds into this. We haven't put any money into this fund. We have had some expenses, about almost $4,000 in legal fees. So our next city council meeting, we're going to need to have a budget adjustment. This number, we can't have a fund be negative. So next time I come, I'm going to come and present a budget adjustment for you guys to review and approve. Your last fund is Fund 55, and this deals with, we call this your MET fund, and it deals with municipal energy type taxes. That's going to be Questar Gas, Rocky Mountain, Google Fiber. Currently in this fund, you have 1.4 million in cash, and your fund balance is 1.6 million. So you're positive in this fund as well. And you have spent very, very little money out of this fund. I made some charts for just this MET fund. You've collected 1.2 million. You've collected almost your whole budget, the whole amount we were expecting to collect. You've almost collected that already. You're gonna probably go 10 to 20% more than we were expecting. In terms of expenses, you've only spent $3,000 out of this fund so far this year. Do I have any questions? I'm sorry, I've been going pretty fast. So this is another big fancy report I'm giving to you guys for you to review. We can definitely sit down and have a meeting and talk about it. But this is an allocation report. Because one of the things you guys do is you give a large portion of your sales tax and your road taxes to the MSD, and then we use those money to do projects for you guys. So this report kind of shows, this is a 5-year report that shows what those funds have been spent on. The figures for fiscal year 26 are not complete, and they won't be complete until the fiscal year ends. So I did just write in next to a couple of these figures, just estimate numbers. Yes.
I've got to, I have to. Why does it say magnicity?
I'm sorry, the template just had all of them as magna. I apologize. This is very much Kearns. Thank you for pointing that out. This one says Kearns.
Good.
So this is kind of a breakdown, just gives you kind of a chart of what we've done this year in terms of the allocation. You've allocated 7.9 million in tax revenue to the MSD to use. We've spent it mostly on public work projects, capital projects, These ARPA expenses, that's actually more capital projects. So we've spent almost 5 million of it on just projects for your city. Other expenses we have, we got admin overhead, PDS overhead. That's paying for our staff to go and do these projects and to provide services for you guys. My salary comes out of here, admin overhead. That's where my expense. I don't send you guys an invoice every month. Instead, it comes through here and through this admin expense. But we do a lot of other services for Kearns. We have our animal control, our DC prosecution, indigent legal justice court, park maintenance, code enforcement, and land use fees and costs. So this is just a breakdown of what those funds you provide to the MSD, how we are spending them, and where they are going. Do I have any questions? Okay, so that's everything I have. I've provided all these charts and figures and statements to Diana, and she's going to provide them to all of you. You're always welcome to email me anytime or call me up if you have more questions. I'd encourage you to look over these, because I know for me, the best way I can serve your city is if you understand these numbers really well. Our next order of business is to talk about our fiscal year 2027 budget. That'll start this coming July 1st and go through the full year and June 30th of next year. A couple months ago, we had a meeting and we sat down, me and the mayor.
And myself.
And you. And we talked about these numbers and we came up with the best figures we could of what we felt like the city of Kearns would need for its admin budget. I did make one change. Go down to the very bottom of the budget. After consulting with some of my coworkers, they said that health expenses were going to be significantly more than what I had originally recommended to you guys. So they recommended that I change the health insurance budget from 48,000 to 100,000. So that is a change I made. If you guys don't like that change, I will change it back. This is your budget, so it's you guys who get to decide. Yes.
I'm assuming that means that someone else is on the insurance. Is that correct?
Yeah. And if we don't use the budget, it's just the funds stay in your account and you can use them for other things.
Yes.
So this is the full budget for all 4 funds, all 4 of those money pools for Kearns for next year. Is there any specific numbers you'd like me to go over? I did try to write notes, like these are what these different budget categories are for, how we came up with those numbers. These notes are very helpful. When 6 months from now, we're like wondering, hey, how did we come up with that number? Let's see what our notes tell us.
So you're going to be sending these out to us?
Yes.
Okay.
And it'll be included with the minutes as well, attached to the minutes when those are approved and posted.
Okay, perfect. Just sooner the better, you know, so I can overlook these.
Right. Can you help me find the budget for like our Kearns Town Days? Is that in here?
Taste the Kearns and stuff?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, it's going to be under special
Taste the Kearns
events.
and
I
stuff?
believe.
Under special events? Okay. Yeah. No, I just had a conversation about Kearns
There it is.
Town
You're right
Days
there.
and just wanted to get an
Special
idea.
events. Yep. We're gonna take care of you. Got it budgeted for that.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
Is that amount correct? I thought we were.
So since the committee is now with the city, it's not allocated on its own line item.
Yeah.
It's a special, so that's for special events in general.
Okay.
Now, the committee had rentals, they had office supplies, none of that goes under that line item, and now it
Okay.
goes under the city's.
That makes sense
Office
now.
supplies, rentals.
Got it.
That makes
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't asking about a community. I was trying to figure out some stuff for coming up.
So for this budget, we do need to approve this as a tentative budget today. The budget process works that in May, we are supposed to approve the tentative budget and decide on a period. We need at least 7 days to make this budget available for the citizens to see. And then our next city council meeting, we will have a period to allow public comment for anyone who's gone to review the budget and has questions about it. And then that's when we would approve the final budget for the city of Kearns. So I would like to invite you guys to decide if you want to approve this as your tentative budget.
Can I speak to that a little bit more? So Daniel's spot on with the process. Now, for those of you who are new, we're gonna have to do this every May. Essentially what you're approving is, hey, are we comfortable enough with this budget to send it out to the public for them to come provide comments to us in June? We've got to adopt it by the end of June. And so if you wanted staff to make any changes, you could approve the tentative budget subject to those changes. There's a resolution in your packet that would approve this. And then we also have to set the public hearing date, which we typically just do as part of your regular meeting in June. We would just have a separate item in the agenda that would say public hearing, and then we have to go over that. One thing I want to be clear of is that state law, when the prior council approved the officer pay for both the council and for a potential city administrator, if you hire one, you have to hold a public hearing when you're increasing or setting that. So if you're going to, Daniel, did I understand correctly that there's a kind of a cost of living adjustment for the benefits?
Oh, yeah, just for the benefits.
Okay, so I would recommend, just to be on the safe side, that we just, if you're comfortable with this tentative budget and the benefits amounts, that we just we'll have to hold a separate public hearing at your next meeting. And we can do them conjunctively, right? We can have one on the compensation package, and then right after that, we could go into the final budget. So I just want to be clear that if there is a slight adjustment, the code says that if it increases or if it's established, you have to have a public hearing, and we can do that concurrently with your budget. So I just want to be clear about the next steps there.
Nice.
Any questions on that?
As long as we can overlook it and I can get hit back notes if I need to.
Yeah, so
That's all I'm good with, Nathan.
this is not the final budget.
I know.
And this is just a draft. And so what'll happen is we'll propose this. You'll get public comment. If you have changes between now and then, you can send them to staff. But what I recommend is you actually take public comment on the draft that we provide, and then after that, we can make changes. So importantly, one of the benefits of you guys meeting earlier in the month is that if there's a lot of discussion or a lot of changes you want to make after the public hearing, we have time before the end of June to hold a special meeting. But hopefully, people can get you comments, and we'll know what sort of changes will be needed in advance, so we can have those ready.
Well, then, I guess I'll make a motion that we approve the tentative budget for 2027, right?
It'll be, so it's resolution R.
R,
2026.
yeah, the resolution R 2026-13.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you, guys.
Thank you,
And
Daniel.
if you have questions about the budget over the next couple weeks and you're looking over it, you're reviewing it, feel free to call me or email me your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Would you guys like me to email you those slides right now? Just so you have them now, like
If you-
1 minutes essentially?
If you could, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't have a presentation.
You don't have a presentation?
No, I do have a presentation. It's not going to be a PowerPoint. I'm commenting on this facility use agreement, which is the next item on the agenda. So this was something that Councilmember Butterfield requested. The intent of this agreement is that if there's ever an emergency and Kearns needs to lease or use space to do emergency operations for whatever reason, let's just say there's an earthquake and we need a space to house people or a space to operate emergency response operations out of. We would have an agreement that's geared to that, ready to go. And so that's what this is. I've prepared this based on some documents that Madison Warner, who's your emergency coordinator with UFA, provided us. Madison, however, has not had a chance to look at this agreement. I don't think it's something that requires formal approval, but if it's something that we would use in an emergency, I would want you to be comfortable with it, which is why I'm presenting it to you. I don't anticipate that Madison's going to have a lot of changes, but I wanted to just present it to the council. Councilmember Butterfield, I know you've seen it, the mayor's seen it, and just, while I wait for Madison's comments to see if there's any additional edits that you would like me to make to it, if any.
I thought it was fine as it is, but yeah, let's get with Madison and see if she thinks we need to make any changes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
All right, this is where we made the adjustments. So we are going to go with what was originally G. Discussing and potential approval of ordinance 2026-004, enacting the Community Clean Energy Program. Crystal, you want
Want to pull those up?
Stop, sorry, stop sharing YouTube wasn't permitted after sharing Mr. Moreno's presentation, then it would go.
Story of our life.
We're good, I got it, okay. Pull those up for you. Do you know which one?
It's power, isn't it a PowerPoint?
Do you want to do the slideshow?
Yeah, let's do the slide. And I came on to the Clean Energy Board in February. And so Patrick, I hope you can help me chime in on some of this.
There it is. We're not going to share it with YouTube because I don't want to do whatever I'm doing here.
All right, go to the next slide. Go one more. Community Clean Energy Program's a new program giving you the ability to choose clean, reliable, affordable clean energy through Rocky Mountain Power. The Community Clean Energy Program was designed through a partnership between Rocky Mountain Power and the Community Renewable Energy Agency, or the URC, of which we are already a member. In March 2026, the program was approved by the PSC, or Utah Public Service Commission. If we adopt the program tonight, all eligible RMP customers, Rocky Mountain Power customers in our community will have a new option for choosing clean energy through their power bill. By investing in clean energy, the URC will help meet Utah's growing energy needs while keeping power reliable and air cleaner for generations. We can go to the next one. Community Clean Energy Program developed by the URC and RMP offers a unique option for customers who want to access clean energy. Blue Sky allows participants to voluntarily contribute $1.95 per 100 kilowatt hours. Am I right? I'm not an energy person, so, or to support renewable energy by supporting grants to help organizations offset the cost of rooftop solar, fund the purchase of renewable energy certificates nationwide. Let's see, Subscriber Solar offers shares in an existing 20 milliwatts solar farm in southern Utah. Participation is capped at RMP has not indicated their plan to build more projects for this program. Customers with the resources that own their homes or businesses can install rooftop solar. Doing so supports renewable energy growth and directly lowers monthly bills by producing at least a portion of the electricity used by homes or businesses. Go to the next one. So this is where we're at. Kearns Township at the time signed on with this program in, I believe it was 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we've already signed in to the program and we paid, somebody was asking about the amount that was paid. Wasn't that the 700?
No,
How much was it?
it was 35,000 a year,
Okay, 35,000.
but we only paid it for 3 years.
Yeah, and we paid it for 3 years. So that's, we've already paid into the program. We just got PSE approval March 4th. And now is where our council decides if they want to keep with the program or just scrap it. I'll go to the next slide. So let's see, the order addressed key details like the initial program rate and customer opt-out details while leaving more complex issues for follow-up ruling. The order allowed the URC program to move forward. The 90-day clock for communities to consider the ordinance has begun, so we have till June 2nd to make our decision. You want to go to the next slide. Where is it? Go one more. Eligible residents can pay $4 a month, $3.88 monthly program participation fee, with the 12-cent monthly surcharge for low-income programs. So that's $4 a month. Qualifying low-income residents will pay $0. So if you're on the HEAP program or the HELP program, I believe you're automatically opted out, correct? Okay. Go to the next slide. So who qualifies? Pretty much everybody in Kearns does, because we've already moved into it, and then we'll decide tonight if we want to keep going with this program. Go ahead. Where is it? Go one more. I don't think that's it. Go to the next one. So I want to get to the slide that has because people were questioning on the opting out. Oh, okay. There's no termination fee if a customer opts out within 6 months, which is the cancellation period. They'll start noticing, what is it? The 2-month and 4-month billing cycles. Is that prior to the program, right? It's been a while. Yeah. If during the cancellation period, there is no fee to exit after the cancellation period, so after the 6 months, there's a $30 termination fee for residents. The termination fee varies depending on rate schedule for non-residential customers. Businesses can opt out as well. Go ahead and go to the next one. Yeah, okay. Is there one more after this? There's one more.
There's a few more.
Oh, is there? Okay.
This is about the ordinance.
Okay.
This is just how to write the ordinance.
Yeah.
We've already prepared the ordinance at the council.
Yeah, it's already prepared.
So there's policy analysis and recommendation.
Okay, as part of the RMP service territory, our community's option for supporting clean energy through the utilities are limited. The Common Clean Energy Program has been designated to provide a new choice for all homes and businesses to choose clean energy through Rocky Mountain Power by supporting clean energy developments at scale. The Act and rules create a pathway for communities to come together with Rocky Mountain Power and apply the PSE to launch this new program. It's been a careful and an intentional process. The community clean energy programs are community's best choice for making clean energy available to the entire community. If we do not adopt the ordinance, the choice to participate in the community energy program goes away. Working to support clean energy aligns with our community's mission of promoting the health, safety, and welfare of our community. So let's see, key takeaways. The Community Clean Energy Program, should we choose to enact it, will provide opportunity for all eligible homes and businesses within our community to choose clean energy through their Rocky Mountain Power bill. The program was recently approved by the Utah Public Service Commission, which starts a 90-day clock for us to decide whether to enact the approved program. If we adopt the ordinance, we will officially bring the community clean energy program to our community, and we will continue to be part of the URC board, collaborating with Rocky Mountain Power to launch and operate the program. If we do not adopt the ordinances, the community clean energy program will not be an option for our community, and we will no longer be part of the URC. Go to the next one. That's it?
Yep.
All right.
Is there option for public comment and rebuttal?
Okay, before we move to approval of anything, I would like our council to really discuss this long and hard before we go forward. A little bit about my perspective on this is I think we all can agree, whatever side you're on, is the way it's going about opting all residents in isn't what I believe, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but I believe none of us want, for one. Unfortunately, that's not a choice of ours. Our choice is whether we continue with this program or we decide to abandon it.
That's the choice.
That
Continue with it, you tell us that you're gonna do this to us.
So
That's your choice.
here's how I look at it, and I want my council to talk, and then we can really get into discussion with this. And this is why I wanted to postpone the other things, because I think this is super important. One of the things, this was before I was here, we've obviously had a commitment to have a seat at the table for several years. I look at it as like, we're building this bridge, it's about ready, we're ready to pave it, and now we're deciding we don't want to do it. So that's what I'm confused in. Why did we even commit to this if we are now deciding whether we want to do it or not? And so that's really how I want to continue the discussion is really on that. And then we can just go back and forth on that.
I don't see the benefit. Well, when we first started this, it was exactly as it said, but it was never noted that everybody would have to be opted into it. So we went into this in good faith as a city. I was originally appointed to the board. I've spoken up many times about, I am all for green energy. I've been in the electrical business for 26 years. I'm all for energy. But the way I see it is it got to a point where Rocky Mountain Power just kept putting it off and putting it off, waiting for the Service Commission to keep making changes. And as a city, we'd already spent some money on it. I've voiced myself in prior council meetings, prior to this new council, about wanting us to opt out of it. Well, that kind of got pushed away, and I'm fine with that. But my biggest thing is we are asking, as a governing body of the city of Kearns and 40,000 residents, to take on this burden. It may only be $4 a month, which isn't a lot, but it is a lot when you look at it, $50 a year. And what happens if next year Rocky Mountain Power comes and says, we need to raise this up to $80?
Yeah, it is written.
And you're already opted into it, and you can't opt out of it by then. So that's my biggest issue is us as a governing body, we are elected by the residents of Kearns. And all the feedback I'm getting is 95% vote no against it, 5% voting yes for it. And like I said, I'm still all for 100% renewable energy, but I justify at the end of the day, even though I'm a council member, I'm still a citizen of Kearns. We all are, we live here. I still have to face that burden. So that's my concern. I just wanted everybody to know how I feel about it. And I know we did put some money on it, but I think it's at the point where let's cut our losses and move on. That's my opinion. Sometimes you just have to do that.
Thank you. So you're saying you have about a 90% is unfavorable.
Yes.
Okay. Mine is a little different. I have about 60% for. I have about 40% against.
I don't know.
Because you may not be in my district.
I am in your district.
Did you email? I was like, I did get quite a bit. I was like, I have got a lot of responses. And I am extremely torn. And based off of that, I was having a hard time coming into this meeting today because of that.
Yeah.
Before today, I didn't get too much feedback. I did get actually a pretty good handful, but today I got an overwhelming amount of emails, text messages, phone calls. Well, exactly, and now you know. So I'm glad that we had everybody's ability to speak up and talk about this. What would you like to say?
I have a question.
Okay.
Did Rocky Mountain Power misrepresent the program in the beginning? Yes.
By
Then
not
that's a
telling
reason
you.
to say no right there, because if they misrepresent then, they'll continue to misrepresent because we feel for it.
Yeah.
Let's let the council talk now.
I still haven't heard the benefit to us. They say we gotta, so what's the actual benefit?
That is a great question, and we're going to probably get more into that. But thank you for letting me talk with you one-on-one. Yeah.
One of the things, the biggest complaint I heard is that they're not happy that people have to opt out of it. I'm not happy about that as well. But then again, I don't want to make the decision for you guys. So my question is, how many of you are against this?
I'm in your district too.
Yes. How many of you would support this?
Okay.
That answers that question.
Okay, thank you for doing that.
Yes.
I am now going to change what I said in my text. That is 100% of the people that contacted me has said that they are not in agreement with this.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue the conversation. You guys are correct. We've had an overwhelming response. We've had emails come in.
Facebook has tons of comments too.
Yes.
That's the thing, is if we're gonna take the comments that we've gathered personally and round them all together, how much of the community do you think that supports?
About 20%, because I didn't even know about this until just 20
A
minutes.
lot because it wasn't transparent enough to get out to the residents of this whole program to begin with.
So if 100% of our residents on both sides, 100% Lauren said this, 100% Lindsay said this, is that a representation of the entire entity of Kearns? I don't think that is.
I'm having a hard time. Like I said, I've got like 60-40.
The decision is made by those who show up. We have shown up, and there are people on Facebook who are showing up with their comments. Those who may not know about it, who are deciding not to comment, unfortunately, we are the decision makers because we showed up.
But I'm conflicted why we put our seat, why we put a seat at the table to come in with this. That's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. If we want to make a choice and we want this to ultimately be the choice, just like the council said here today, none of us agree that it should be this opt-in automatically. None of us agree with that. But we don't have really a choice on that part. We have a choice, either we go forward with this or we don't. So this is where I'm coming from.
Way more behind it than that. There's no guarantee in the bill that any of the Utah renewable energy stuff that we're putting our $4 to will benefit not just Kearns, but Utah in general. What we have right now is being sold out of state to other municipalities. This is ridiculous. There's more to it than just that. That's a big piece. That's a government overreach. But there's way more to it than that. And we have to stop asking the question, well, why did we get here? How did we get here? We have to start thinking about how do we solve it? Can we stop being past facing and fix it?
Do we want to make a choice for all of the residents tonight?
Yes.
Or do we want to give every resident the choice to make for themselves? That's the question that I'm having with myself. They won't if we vote no.
Individuals can opt in on their own. The Blue Sky program is open to any individual resident.
Yeah, I've been part of the Blue Sky program for a long time.
I've been offered it. You've probably all been offered it.
I have too.
Oh my God.
And I have ignored it.
I'm not sure what Rocky Mountain Power is offering to a community. Are they saying they're going to maintain our rates going forward for some, at some level?
Let me say
Are
something.
they promising us?
Even if we have more solar and wind farms out in the West Desert, and we still use our coal power to create energy, at the end of the day, when all that energy goes to the transfer station, from there to your home, they cannot tell you if it's clean energy.
Right.
That's the issue I have with it as an electrical side.
Then why did we opt in on it? That's what I'm trying to understand.
At the, 5 years ago, when we did this, it was a good idea.
It's good faith. We tried it. That's fine.
Please.
Oh, here, Nathan, we really do need more microphones.
So when this program was created, every municipality in Utah, when the legislation was passed, was basically given the choice. If you want to have the option of getting renewable energy, then you need to participate in this program. And then ultimately you'll have the final say to opt in or out of it when all the details were merged. And so that was what was said. It was basically, if Kearns wants to participate and give its citizens the ability to purchase clean renewable energy, you have to at least participate in the board and do what Patrick has said. But problem was at the time, the program hadn't been developed, and that's why it's led to this. And so the point is that when Kearns opted in, the decision at the time was, if you ever want to be eligible to participate in this program, you've got to start participating at the beginning. Because if you don't, you're forever foreclosed. And then the program developed, and at the time, this opt-in provision wasn't part of the table. That wasn't part of the proposal. That's what's developed since then. And so that's why the city, it wasn't like this was a program that was baked from the start. It was a concept. Kearns said, okay, we're willing to try this out. We're willing to participate in it, see where it goes, understanding that ultimately you'll have the decision you need to make today, which is, do we want to participate in this program now that we know what it says?
And originally only 23 communities opted in, and now only 19 are in. Sandy City has opted out completely because they have decided it's not good for their residents. That is the choice you have to make.
They've all opted out.
Yeah, they've all opted out.
Mr. Mayor, anybody has the freedom, we opt out of this, everybody in the community has the freedom of paying more of their electricity bill if they want to.
What if we
But
do
they're not
this
gonna
and say no and our prices skyrocket?
They're not gonna skyrocket.
I'm just asking a hypothetical, am I not?
No, they're skyrocketing already. So
Yeah.
that's the question we don't need to answer that question. We know what's gonna happen.
Renewable energy is now cheaper than coal-powered energy anyway. It's in the best interest of Rocky Mountain Power to do these investments on their own to save money.
But they're still gonna sell it to communities and states outside of us. They're doing it already. So if we're gonna judge, like, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, and we know what Rocky Mountain Power is doing right now, and they're selling it off to other states. So they're gonna do the same thing if we opt into this.
You can argue that selling, it still contributes to keeping our rates low. Wherever the
No,
energy
it
goes,
doesn't.
it's keeping its costs
It
down.
doesn't, this is not affect Kearns at all.
Well, yeah, I don't see that there's direct benefit to local communities.
And also, yeah, go ahead.
So you're saying, why don't we send it to the Kearns residents? Which is kind of a fair thing. I mean, it's fair. We only are a little percent here in Kearns. So you're kind of confused about present it to them. And that's what frustrated most of us. We didn't know anything about this until today. I'm very grateful that I at least looked at Facebook. So it's right. So you can try it, but I think the majority of Kearns people struggle anyhow. I personally, it's just a personal opinion. I think most of us opt out for it. I really think. Which everybody's struggling right now. And I just don't think $4 added on to all the gas prices and everything else is not fair.
And see, all of us here would agree that the whole opt-in automatically is bogus.
So then Gates, well, We answer
your questions,
right.
right there, what to
The
do.
only answer is
So,
to say
so
no.
we spent money on this program and it hasn't even launched.
We made a commitment, we didn't have no. And if we opt out, we're done for good with it. And if we're okay with that,
That
took care
of the
legal
fees and other processes.
Because all it would take is going back to our state senators and saying, well, we want to opt in now, so let's get our lobbyist to get the bill changed and we can opt back in. That's what it's.
But we really actually tried to do that with an actual opt-in option, and the legislature was not willing to do that. That would have been way too forward thinking, apparently.
And obviously, that's why we also need to change all those that are in the office, don't we?
Yes.
Amen to that. So, they did that so we vote their way. So let's not, and show them that we're not gonna do what they say.
We won't be compelled.
That's right.
To do
That's
something.
my biggest concern.
Yeah.
do you guys have any concerns? So I've tried to look at this at
Both sides.
not only both sides, because to me, it's ultimately giving the residents a choice. That's what I ultimately want to give. I don't want to make that choice for you. I've taken into consideration with, again, we've had this commitment, so I go back, I know we've had that answered. But also, and I get it, the Olympics is a ways away, but in reality, is it really? I know with the Olympics, they're more committed to renewable energy host communities. And so we can look at this as a factor of helping with that. Now, the Olympics is something exciting to engage with, but at the end of the day, I'm not in it for the Olympics. I'm in it for the leverage of what it can bring to our community. Because it matters what we do now, what we do during the Olympics, and what happens after the Olympics. I just don't want, and this is not to blame anybody. It's just what, the cards Kearns was dealt. I just don't want it to happen like in 2002. I want our citizens, our residents to actually benefit and use the Olympics as leverage, use the other neighboring cities around us to get what we want. And so I also kind of played that into it as well. And so that's why it's just very conflicting that, I'm understanding, I'm trying to see the big picture with this, right? And right now what I see is we're all in argument on the fact that they are making us opt in on this. And I 100% agree with you.
Making us opt out.
Making you automatically opting you in, so you have to go out of your way to opt out, which I think is, again, like I said, I don't, that's unfortunate. I don't think it should be like that. We don't have that choice.
We do have a choice right now.
Here's the thing, if
Jesse.
enough cities decide to shut this down, right, and not join in on this program because of them making us instantly opt in, right? If enough people are saying no, 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 then maybe Rocky Mountain and them will look at this a little bit different.
Yeah.
And come back out later and say, hey, you know what? You have the option to opt in instead now, if each individual can. If they come out with that, that makes perfect sense. But if we stick with how everyone around us is doing it and opt out of this and just shut this thing down, they're gonna get the picture.
Yeah.
Mayor, could I offer something?
Yes.
I'm with the
Please.
URC board, and I'm also the coordinator for the program design committee, been working on this program.
Oh,
I'm hearing a lot of
we need mic. Here's the mic, because
Yeah.
we need to.
I don't know your process, but I want to make sure that you have the information we have. Believe me, getting up, is this okay to
Yes,
to address
please.
you like this? Clearly, there's a lot of concern tonight, and so I just want to make sure that folks know the program, what it does include and what it doesn't include, and it's certainly, at the end of the day, you have a tough decision to make to take this action. And so I just want to clarify a couple things. So this bill originally, the enabling legislation for this program originally passed during the 2019 general session. Representative Steve Handy, a Republican House member, ran the bill after working with a bunch of the communities who were interested in pursuing this. And I can't remember the Kearns position at the time, but the debate the legislature had in their committee meetings was this very debate, opt-in versus opt-out. And it went right down to the wire. In fact, it didn't pass the first day. On the second committee follow-up meeting,
ended up passing as an opt-out program. And so it was designed from that day in spring of 2019 as an opt-out program, and it has been ever since. They've had 7 legislative sessions to revise that. And in fact, this came up again during this last general session. Representative Carl Albrecht ran a bill to see about changing it back to, or not back to opt-in from opt-out. The response to that was overwhelmingly negative. The legislature got tons and tons of feedback. I'm just representing what happened. And so what Representative Albrecht did instead is he ran a substitute bill for HB 238. You can look that up, third substitute, that instead of trying to make it opt-in from the opt-out nature of the program, made it very clear that the opt-out has to be as simple as a checkbox or signing your name to an included form, which is actually how the program was designed for years. If you go back and look at the program application, there were 3 options in there already. There was go to your, click this link and go to your account and opt out. Return this form that's included, the paper form, in this separate notice, or call this 1-800 number. So I also want to clarify a couple other things. Under the program that the PSC approved, there are 2 notifications separate from, in addition to your power bill, that you receive over the first 60 days of that 6-month cancellation period, where there's no termination fee. During that first 60 days, there's no charge for the program and there's no termination fee. And so during that period, you get 2 notices. If you're a paper billing person, you get 2 paper notices. If you're an electronic person, you get 1 paper notice and then an electronic notice. There's also communication going on the whole time from the program. And to the extent that if the community were to participate, they can add to that communication stream. One other thing I want to clarify that came up just a moment ago, there are 7 communities in now, which doesn't sound like much, who've gone through this process that you're considering tonight, and they've adopted the program. That represents 74% of the eligible kilowatt hours under this program. The program is going forward. There is enough critical mass that for those communities and probably others who adopt it, there's going to be this program. And this, I don't envy you. This is a tough position to make this decision for folks. But if you don't adopt it, as I think Crystal said earlier, that's it. And you don't have to worry about it. If the council does adopt it, you at least can participate, or you can choose not to participate. So again, I just wanted to clarify, and I'm happy to answer. You probably have a million questions. I'd be happy to do my best to answer them for you. But I want to be respectful of your process, Mayor and Council. If this isn't how you want to handle this tonight, we don't need to
The most
field
important
questions.
one is what is the benefit? I haven't heard one benefit yet.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think what it does is it helps bring renewable power. I think someone else said that Rocky Mountain and the latest integrated resource plan, that's a 20-year planning horizon, has decided not to do any renewable energy for Utah.
So
And that's great. If that's what you want, that's that. But for folks who do want to see renewables developed, they are low cost, as someone said. There is the benefit to help spur those on in a way that the company is not currently planning to do. If that's not of interest to you, then you would probably want to opt out of the program, understandably.
So if it's that simple to opt out,
Yes.
then why is it not that simple to just opt us, like we can just opt in? They made that decision. That's not what we're talking about.
Because the legislature set the program up that way,
I know.
and then the Public Service Commissions set up the administrative
Because they're
rules. that-
banking on the fact that residents aren't paying attention. That is what they're banking on. So let me ask you guys, you have your own budgets. We all run our own budgets, and you have someone come to you and say, okay, we're gonna opt you into this, adding a line item to your budget. And you now need to pay this entity this much money every month. But I can't tell you, I can't guarantee what that money is gonna go to. Oh, and it's probably gonna offset some things that aren't a part of energy at all. But it'll be good for everybody. It'll be good for the whole. Who in here would agree to that in their personal budget?
Can I ask, answer something you raised there, or at least address it? In terms of what is this $4 for, right? So $3.88 of that goes towards acquiring resources. We have gone out we did an RFP, and when I say we, that included two representatives from Kearns, two representatives from each community, solicited 14 qualifying resources, things like solar, wind, geothermal projects. Those have been vetted, narrowed down to a short list, vetted by an energy consulting firm that helped us understand some of the ins and outs of the pros and cons of each of those different projects. That's gone through a system valuation process through PacifiCorp's very sophisticated modeling. Now we are down to a final short list of 3 to 4 projects that we could potentially move forward with. And so the idea is to select one or more of those projects to move forward with a power purchase agreement to start the process of acquiring these clean resources to where you will eventually get to net 100%, but you got to start small, and we don't want to acquire so much resource that if folks decide to opt out quite a bit, that we have more than we need. So you kind of have to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. So that's the program is designed, and the way we're working on it is to acquire those resources in batches to make sure that we're matching up the resource with the folks who stay in the program.
What kind of a resource?
So things like a solar farm or a wind farm are the most likely candidates.
Okay, so if Kearns opts out, will it damage Kearns any itself? What are those other cities that have opted in? Are they going to get advantages over us?
Could you tell us what cities have opted in?
Yes.
Surrounding cities.
Let me try to do it in
Utah's capital city opted in on this by chance.
It has. So Springdale, Little Springdale, Mount Zion Canyon was first, followed by, see if I can get this right, Summit County, then Salt Lake City, Immigration Canyon, Moab, Park City, and Ogden. That's 7. And again, that's
19, and I have the list here.
right. 7 out of 19 are in so far. We have about 4 votes this week at least, and we have more on the way. And again, because of the size of some of those cities, that represents 74.34% of the eligible load. So again, there are enough communities and enough eligible customers in those communities to bring a program forward. So, so if you don't opt in, then you just won't have that option, and the other communities will go on.
I still haven't heard the option that we will get if we do this.
Any guarantee for the community about future prices from?
What do we get?
That's a great question. So what you get is you're helping develop clean energy resources for Utah.
You are funding Rocky Mountain Power's research and development.
Right.
Yep, that's exactly what you just said.
Research and development. We're buying a contract for power. We're buying watt hours. Okay. Well, let me clarify that. We only pay the delta between the price that our bidders have given us and the net system benefits to all customers. So it is not true that the communities who are participating in this pay 100% of the cost of that resource. They just pay anything that's in excess of what it costs them to develop any resource. The resources they're going to develop with or without the program. They need to follow growth as new load comes into the state, new customers live here. And so we're just paying the premium to make sure that it's clean.
You said they weren't going to develop.
Okay, let me try to explain this.
What's cheaper, and renewables are now cheaper.
Yeah, hang on one second. So they're going to acquire new resources. They always do this, right? They might buy a new gas plant. They might buy a renewable resource. They might even go after energy efficiency that helps them get to where they need to be. And they're currently not planning to do that with renewables. They're currently planning to rely on existing coal and natural gas fired resources and some renewables in their system. And then out in the 2030s timeframe, start to acquire natural gas resources that have emissions that come along with it. So this would allow for clean resources to be built instead of some of those resources later. if that makes sense. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear.
If the state wants this, they should fund it. They are passing the cost on to the residents and communities that opt in, and that's not the way this program should be. This is not the way it should be.
Also, I'm sorry, I still don't understand. Kearns get hurt if we don't.
No, that's up to you.
What will the
And it's up
other
to your
cities get that we won't?
They get a seat at the table. That's it.
Some of that's going to remain to be seen in terms of how the PSC values these resources down the road. In the projections that Rocky Mountain Power has for the program, there is a potential for negative rates out in the future. We can't guarantee that. Just like any rates, they're set by the Public Service Commission, and they have the final say-so in that. So that the projections show much lower cost in the future for this program. The reason why it is set high at the beginning is the agency asked for that so we could get the reserves built up to get these acquisitions started and to qualify for federal tax incentives. So to make the program cheaper.
Just because something is possible doesn't make it optimal. So just because Kearns can have the possibility and non-guarantee of somehow in some future year, in some way, maybe benefit from this program. It's not optimal for Kearns residents, as you've seen by the 100% of citizens who showed up to help you make this decision, who said absolutely not. This seems like a very easy decision for the council.
So you were saying something about the Olympics. Will this impact? We say no. Will it impact the Olympics? You were saying something I didn't quite understand your statement.
The Olympics mandates, or I don't want to say mandates, but they look into those host cities or host communities that are 100% renewable energy. And I look at it as a proactive approach of, not only the Olympics, but can it ultimately provide our residents with a cheaper bill, right? And it sounds like right now, that's not the case. But if we continue to do the same what we're doing, we're going to get what we've always got. And so we can continue to go in the direction we've gone too and take the risk there. To me, it's a risk either way,
This is like the host city. Salt Lake City is the host city, and we house some of the infrastructure for Olympics. So if you're talking about, well, they look at the host city's renewable energy, they're looking at Salt Lake. They're not looking at Kearns. We are not the host city.
And you didn't sell the
contract. We're a host community.
Anyway, so it has nothing to do with the Olympic thing. Well,
No, and you're right, it has nothing to do with it, but I try to see everything as a proactive approach, right? Like it's not, I'm not just looking for a yes or no, like, because right now I really do feel the confliction is they aren't giving us a choice. It's either you say yes and you opt everyone in and everyone's mad because they got opted in on something they didn't want, or we say no and the people that wanted it are now have no choice for that. And that,
They do have a problem.
And they
And when we get our thing, and 85% of the residents opt out, you're still stuck paying the fee.
That's right.
Can I clarify that?
Please.
We're just going to size the resource to the participants who stay in the program. So if for whatever reason 80% drop out, we just want to acquire as much clean energy because we're just acquiring the energy for the participating. No. I think that there was maybe a little misunderstanding about the fee. What the community is committed to paying is for noticing. The program, the agency costs, starting when the program revenues kick in around January of next year, are covered by the program itself. So there is, other than the noticing requirements to pay for that, which were already included, and what you've helped pay for to get the agency costs that have run this for the last 7 years, you're not going to have those costs. And I didn't want to interrupt to correct that, but that's how it works.
Thank you for clarifying. One of the first things that I had planned on even before this forum was I wanted to push for some type of oversight, transparency, and regular reporting. I was under the assumption that we would be getting that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the Public Service Commission in their order required an annual reporting process. The parties who participated in this lengthy docket for the last year leading up to this approval, the PSC has charged them with going and developing a working committee to come up with a reporting template and a whole process for how that informs future rates. Please let me finish.
Please let him finish.
So the idea would be that you would have this reporting would feed into Rocky Mountain Power, then makes a report at the end of every year, or once a year, no more than once a year. And that can but doesn't have to include recommendation for a rate change, up or down. And that's very similar to how they already do your they propose rate changes for your power bill. So there is a reporting requirement under the Public Service Commission. And again, all of this is scrutinized by the PSC, which doesn't take this lightly.
No.
They're very different. I mean, they're good to work with, but they scrutinize things very intensely.
So we are going to be able to track costs and participation.
Yes, absolutely. There's that, no question. In fact, one of the program requirements is that program participant costs and benefits can't spill over to non-participants, which has been probably the trickiest part of this program to design, because if for some reason a bunch of folks opt out, we need to make sure that the costs from that don't spill over. Like if you were to adopt the program and all of you in the room who don't like the program were to opt out, we need to make sure that our costs aren't being borne by you, that all you feel is your normal power bill. And so there's been a ton of work that's gone into trying to make sure that is happening. In fact, the PSC, that was probably the central requirement that the legislature gave them in approving the program.
Right, thank you.
Thanks.
Lauren, Crystal, do you have any?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, so I look at it still like this. If we vote no, it does give the residents no choice through this program. If we vote yes, it provides choice. If we vote yes, we as a city need to educate and provide as much awareness and literature as possible. But that's the decision that we need to. And that's where I'm at, is we have a seat out of it. There's a choice either way. But what's the difference? It's now
Because there's no guarantee that this is going to benefit Kearns residents directly in any way. There's nothing written. There's nothing written in the law, the bill. There's nothing.
Hey, Nathan, were we saying that we might have an additional meeting prior to our June meeting?
The residents are expecting a vote on this tonight. I would suggest not postponing the vote.
No, I don't.
Might not like.
We haven't discussed a special. What I was talking about is in June, after you hold your budget hearing in your June meeting, if there are changes, we could hold a special meeting then, but typically you've never had to hold a special meeting for the budget. We're able to work it out then. So of course the council can always hold a special meeting if it's so desired, but I don't think there's one that we've been planning on.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear, or get clarification on that.
Jesse, what happens if you do put this out to first people? Pass this off for tonight and put it out, because a lot of us didn't know about it. And then have a special meeting, whatever you want to do. Make sure everybody knows about it. Make that help you make better decisions.
How are you gonna let more people know? Because this is 2 months that we've been talking about it. They wanted to know about it, the information was out there.
I know.
I've been with the
Being
Kearns
gone
Council
month is not
for off and on for well over 15 years. And my biggest complaint has been the fact of we have not been able to get decent communication from the council to the community. So we know what's going on. And I'm out, now, because I've been part of the council, not officially, but with the Kearns Planning Commission, I have always been the last one to find out.
Right.
So communication needs improvement.
And the way we do that is we build our team. And right now we're not there. To be quite frank and honest with you, Kearns is in survival mode. We are just worried about daily operations and management. We can't focus on the visionary or the strategic planning because this is where we are. Do we want to get there? Yeah.
That's where your residents
And that's where I'm at too, to be quite honest, that's where I want to get. This is why we're here on this council. We want to be focused on that visionary, and we're getting there. It's,
And focus on the things that really matter. If we really are in survival mode,
This
then we
is
need
not
to pinpoint
survival.
why we're in survival mode, and this is not part of that.
Lindsay, I know you've been outspoken. Crystal, you've been out. I guess we all have been outspoken. Do we have anything else that we want to say before we go forward with this? It's 8 o'clock. It's past 8 o'clock. We still have so much to go through.
I've already said my point of views.
I have not changed my mind.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I feel like I've made a good point. I've spoken with Dan Dugan about this. He answered a lot of my questions and concerns with it.
I'm in agreement with the Kearns residents.
He's the only one, who said yes.
So much for representation.
That's right. And this is a democracy and not a republic, and we are supposed to be a republic. You have heard the voice of the people, and if this passes tonight, we may be looking at a one-term mayor and an end-of-term council. People are not going to be happy with you.
I have a lot of people that are unhappy with me every time I
It's
step foot
a
here.
ruse.
This is my job.
It's a ruse.
Absolutely. If you're not happy with it afterwards, you are more than welcome to actually say something. But as of right now,
That's
If
all.
you
I
can
am
come up here to,
and I am absorbing all of this. You may not think that I am, but I am.
I think we should call for a vote.
Thank you.
You've got 170 people here that don't vote.
And
We want to do a roll call vote?
Yeah, that's how we should do it.
Roll call vote.
Okay.
It's a mixed vote, so.
All right.
Mixed votes require a roll call.
All right.
But you need a motion to either approve it or not.
Make a motion that we, okay, I'll make a motion we approve, or what? How do we do this?
So what's the intent of your motion? Do you want to approve the ordinance, in which case you'll be opting into the program? If that's your intent, you would make a motion to move to approve the ordinance. If you don't want to approve it, you would say, I move to opt out of the ordinance, and therefore we will not act on it. And we will not opt in by the necessary deadline.
You know what, I'm gonna vote with residents. So I make a motion that we opt out. Wow. I make a motion that we opt out of the program until we get a few things squared away. Maybe they'll go back to the board and realize this isn't gonna work.
Second. I'm a no vote.
But do you have to-
Second. Oh, second. Yeah, I'll second it.
I thought we just seconded it.
No, didn't we have to
We all
make a
just have to
roll
vote
call
now?
vote?
Yeah.
You had this motion in a second, and now you need to vote.
Yeah, but do I,
Is it
did you
just
say
all in
roll call
favor?
vote or
Yeah,
just
roll call vote.
roll call vote?
Yea or nay.
it's a roll
So
call.
you're
You
voting
have to
to
say your
opt
name
out.
and then-
But we're opting out, is what
Yes.
we're saying.
Yeah, I.
So you do not want to pass the ordinance?
Correct.
And I'm a, yes for opting out.
Hold on, can you guys please not clap, because we need to keep order, thank you.
I for not opting out, or for all, yeah. I for opting out.
So it's unanimous.
So it looks like we're
Unanimous?
unanimous, yeah.
You guys still have to vote. You
Yes.
moved in second, you still have to vote on the
You
motion.
just did.
I thought we did.
No, you moved, Lauren seconded, and
Okay,
then you went and
so
did the roll
Jesse-
call. So.
Ask for a
Now you
vote.
can-
Okay, I say aye.
All in favor.
All in favor?
Councilmember Colby.
Aye.
Aye.
There we go.
There we go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go. Thank you for showing up. It was
Thank you for listening to us.
difficult
Thank you. That was big.
discussion.
That was big.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's move forward. Discussion and potential action regarding assignments of the council member of the Kearns Community Committee. so, assignment of a council. So do we have anybody that would voluntarily like to be assigned to go to the meetings of the Kearns Community Committee for one of us? One of us.
I've already offered before. I'd love.
Lindsay, yeah, Lindsay has offered before. Lindsay, would you?
Absolutely, I would love
Okay.
to.
So let's.
We don't need to vote on that though, right?
No.
Is it just a committee? No, it's a
We need to
committee
vote on that,
No,
or?
it's a committee assignment.
I don't think it would hurt just to motion that you're gonna appoint her as the
Yeah.
council, because you also might want to discuss at some point whether or not, are you gonna be a member of the committee, are you gonna vote, are you just gonna be like a council liaison? That's something to discuss maybe before you.
Talk to me.
So I think we have 3 vacancies on the community committee. One that has a term that ends in 2027, and another that would end in 2029.
I didn't
That's
realize
to
that was
stagger
there.
the terms of this new committee. When you created the Kearns Community Committee, you took the current 6 members of the Kearns Community Council with their current terms and moved them over. So you have 3. I will say when we drafted it, it was not intended that a council member would sit on the committee, because the committee will be making recommendations on certain things to the council to vote on. So all of you as council members will have a say in certain things like the budget. And now if a committee member wants to be assigned as a liaison to be the committee's point person for the committee, that's a separate thing. But I don't think it was designed that any one of the council would be a committee member.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
we
That's not normal.
We just wanted somebody to be present from the council, is my
Yeah.
understanding.
But I don't think that's noticed on the agenda. I thought what was on the agenda was filling the
You said H,
vacancies.
wasn't it?
Eight.
We have the.
Yeah, no, H is-
Action regarding
It's H,
assignment of
yeah.
council members.
Okay, sorry. All
Okay.
right, sorry, I'm confused. I thought we were on to I.
Me too. Well, no, we're getting there. But yes, so H, we can recommend Lindsay as our liaison for the Kearns Community.
And you would want a motion on that in the minutes for the record.
Okay.
I will make a motion that Lindsay is going to be assigned to the Kearns Community Committee as a liaison. Does that work?
No. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good job. Okay, now we are to I, which is the discussion and potential actions regarding resolution R2026-12, appointing members of the Kearns Community Committee. I have sent over a review of applications to our city council and also the recommendation from the community committee. They have recommended out of the list, Jose, and I'm gonna mess up his last name.
Poor form, Jesse.
Cuenca, Jose Cuenca, as the Kearns Community formal recommendation. Do you guys have any, I didn't really hear much feedback. I did hear some from Crystal, but do you have any other feedback on the applicants that were on there so we can
I
move
was
forward?
pretty pleased with all of them that were included in there. I did have some other people reach out to express interest, but that was the most I got out of that.
I have a quick question.
I was gonna say too, I was also very, very impressed with the applications that we received. If somehow, some way, as a city, we can get all of these people on in some capacity, I honestly think that would be great. So,
And it switched over to a committee and applications were never put out again when they
because
no longer a council into a committee.
we're in May.
We do the.
We're in May. So what we're doing, so the formal process will go through the application process where the committee will, they will conduct these interviews and then they will provide those recommendations to the city council. But because this has been extended so long, we have asked them just to send over who they have, because at the time they were the community council, has already gone through this process. And so we're just trying to speed it up. We're in May. We want to make these appointments and move on. And then if there's ever a vacant spot again, we'll go through that process properly.
Okay, I
So,
was just curious.
yeah, so thank you for asking that. Did any of you, I know our city council gets to make the 2 appointments, I get to make 1 appointment, and then we agree as a whole. Were there anybody like I said, Crystal is the only one that kind of reached back
I
out.
guess my only concern is I know it's voluntary for right now, right?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
voluntary.
No,
yeah.
the new applications, that's all, I just want to know they make sure it's voluntary.
Yeah.
And I was good with the people too.
Okay.
I saw that too, so yes.
It's, so would you guys want to make or go forward with the Kearns Community Committee's recommendation with Jose? And we still would have to pick the other two, or we could pick all three entirely? Like, it's up to us at the end of the day what we would like.
Let's go ahead and do Jose.
I would like to have all of them. I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, the more the merrier, the way I look at it. Paula?
It would be really nice if we could get a determination on all of them tonight. And as the mayor said, we're in May. We've lost 5 months of time now. We really need to get this Stephen tonight and get him moving.
Can we approve all of them then?
Well, I mean,
Well,
we
we only
have a
have,
council of 9. But we have done in the past where we have done members up to 9. And then those that are still interested, we've made them what we call associates. So they still interact with us and help us and everything. And then if a council member leaves, then we
Get
have
somebody
an
that can jump
associate
in.
there to step in.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
we don't have alternates or associates in the current ordinance, but what's before you now is an ordinance with 3 vacancies. So you could fill all 3 of them, but you'd have to determine who gets which term. You have 1 seat that would end in 2027 and 2 other ones that would end in 2029. So if you want to appoint all 3, you'd have to determine who gets which term.
Okay.
yeah, we can do
Is that something we'd have to do right now too?
Yes,
Yeah.
because if you're going to fill all 3 seats, you need to determine who gets which term.
Do we know who we want to put on each term yet? We don't.
Well, after 2027, they can reapply for the
Yeah,
next term.
they can
right?
reapply and you can
Okay.
reappoint.
This is what I would say. So looking at the formal recommendation of the Kearns Community Committee with Jose. Also looking at Jose, I don't know if you guys read a little bit of his back history, but he might have another opportunity with the city as well.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
So I say we just make those, we just appoint these members, whatever 3 we want to appoint, and we will just throw them at whatever term for now. We can put, let's put Jose at the 2027. I'm fine to put Jose at 2027.
I'm good with
And then
that.
the other 2 could be at 2029.
So
But we,
I want to make,
2 that end in 2027.
Oh, sorry, do I have it?
2.
1 that ends at
Oh,
2029.
I'm sorry, I have it backwards, because it was, we just
Oh.
mirrored what so the community council has, if Paula, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got 2 that are on 20, you have, I guess, 5 that are 2029 and 4 that are 2027. And so we appointed all but 1 of them, I guess. So I have it backwards. So you have 2 for 29 and 1 for 27.
2 for 27.
2 for 27 and 1 for 20.
Okay, yes.
For
So that's,
27, 1 for 20.
so
Okay.
if we do the resolution, we have to state that.
so the resolution's blank. You just have to fill in which person gets which term.
But do you guys have any
No, I
recommendations?
don't, I'm good
I
with
don't have recommendations on that. I say
I'm good
just
with the way you
20,
were saying.
Yeah.
So they had 5 applicants.
I let these.
Is there any way you could just choose them and then you can set the date at a later time?
No,
No.
no.
I would just recommend that
Are
we
any
put,
of them here tonight?
Is anybody here
I
tonight?
don't see them.
No.
I'll volunteer.
well, we have the application, so we have 5 applicants. We have 3 spots. So we got to fill the 3. 2 of them will just have to go on as associates, or we can work that with the committee.
Yeah.
Would that work for you, Paula?
So here, let's start with this. We've agreed to go forward with the formal recommendation of Jose. Let's go ahead and I think just putting him on the 2027 term.
So make it 1 of the 2027 terms.
1 of the 2027 terms. So
And then the other 2, we'll put at the.
the other 2, but who are the other 2? That's
What was their names?
so
Jerry Wellman.
So Jerry Wellman, Jordan Hansen, Jillian Clayton, and Joanna Medina.
Joanna, Electra, and what was the other one?
Jordan Hansen,
No, the other one.
Jillian Clayton, Jerry Wellman.
There's only 3 there?
1,
And Joanna Medina.
Joanna Medina
Joanna
Sandoval.
Medina and
Oh, and then Jose was the
So you got
recommendation.
Jose, Joanna Medina,
Mhm.
And
but
Jerry
then-
Wellman.
and
Jerry Wellman, Jillian Clayton, and
No,
Jordan.
Jillian Clayton, sorry.
Yeah.
That was it. That's
Yeah.
my three.
Okay.
Julie?
Jillian.
Was it Jillian?
Ian.
I'd have to look at my email.
Okay.
Well, going back to the, so we can say Jose, we can say Jerry Wellman, and then it's really the third role, Jordan Hanson, Joanna, or Jillian Clayton. Lindsay, do you have
I have nothing to add.
nothing to add?
No.
Lauren?
Yeah, Joanna. And Jose.
Jerry and Jose. I'd say those three.
And the other two
Jose, Jerry.
Joanne.
are associates. So does that make the other two associates?
Yes.
Yes.
But we don't have associates.
We don't, yeah.
They, now,
They'd be
the
volunteer.
city council has to come up with its own bylaws to govern its meetings. If they want to have people come and assist, they can certainly do that in their bylaws, and then they'll be proposed to you, and you guys can approve them.
So let me ask this, the council doesn't have like the number one? I've heard from you, you mentioned Jerry, so I know Crystal has said something, but everybody else doesn't really have a preference. So yes, I can, because if that's the case, we can go with Jose, Jerry.
I'll say Joanna. I know Joanna's reached out to me.
Yeah, I say Joanna. Too. Because I liked her stuff. And with Joanna Medina.
Sounds like you guys are just.
Yeah, I think Jerry too. And go back.
Jerry's been involved
Yeah, he's been
for
involved in it, so he knows
years.
what's
And
going on.
I think he,
So the council, your guys' two recommendations would be Jerry and Joanna?
Joanna,
Okay,
Jerry, and Jose.
so the council, Jerry and Joanna, the committee, Jose, and then I'll make the appointment of Jordan Hanson, is what I would do.
So 4.
Well, one,
Yeah, you just said 4.
That's too many.
oh yeah, that's too many. Yeah, sorry,
You got
I'm,
Jerry, Jose, and Joanne. 3. We can only do 3.
Joanne?
So you can't throw another J in there?
Yeah, they're all,
Yeah.
okay,
That's,
that's,
it's kind of quite confusing.
okay, okay.
And Jose will be for the term of 2027. And then Jerry and Joanne will be the other term, right?
No, there's 227. So
Oh,
Jerry was 20, so Jose's 2027.
And
Where do you want Jerry?
put him on 2027.
Okay, Jose and Jerry are 2027, and then Joanna is 2029.
Yeah.
That would be.
No, but I would like Jerry to be 2029.
Okay, I'm good with that too.
Yeah. And then we can go with Joanna, if that's,
there.
are you sure on Jordan? I know he's been out in the
I know
community.
Jordan's been, I think you guys need to get 2 more people spots.
Yeah, well,
That's what we're associates. Yeah, it's in our bylaws, it's in our original one.
okay, so let's go forward with that.
Pick 3 people and we'll take.
Jose
Okay,
and
we'll be-
Joanna, 2027, and Jerry for 2029. How should we say that?
So you would move to approve the ordinance. So you would move, I'm sorry, the resolution. So you would move to approve resolution R 2026-12 to appoint Jose and, no, I thought Jerry was, and Joanna to the 2027 terms and Jerry Wellman to the 2029.
So moved.
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There we
Okay,
go.
awesome.
Thank you,
Abstain.
guys.
And that's where we need to, Mayor, I need you to ask, I want to see who approves that sign, I apologize. I need you to ask all in favor,
All in favor?
Aye.
anyone opposed,
Anyone opposed?
Myself.
and then are you opposing or are you?
I'm
abstaining?
abstaining.
Perfect, thank you, that's what I needed to get
Okay.
on the
Okay,
record.
there we go.
Warren over there.
All righty.
Can you repeat? Sorry.
So Jose, 2027, Jerry, 2029, Joanna,
2027.
2027.
And it will all be outlined on the resolution that's in the city file, so this will be the official record of it, this
this is what it is.
And will you be letting the people know the outcome? Or do you want us to do that?
Do you want to do it?
Whatever you guys want.
We can have a committee do it.
And then are we allowed to have the other two as?
Associates.
We do have that in our bylaws,
Yeah.
original bylaws.
But they
I would
don't
ask
need to
them.
be appointed.
No, they don't have any voting power or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. It's not okay.
So when you guys created the ordinance last month, you created a new city code section to govern the community committee. That does not say anything about alternates or associates. Now, the community committee has to develop bylaws to govern its meetings that they'll propose to you to approve. If they want to come up with some sort of non-voting or people that participate and help, I think they could potentially do it there, but they wouldn't be voting and they wouldn't be alternate members or anything like that.
But they need to keep that in mind when they create those bylaws. is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
well, the bylaws are intended mainly to govern their meetings and how they conduct things. But if they want to be able to have people, and if we want, we can amend the code to allow for that. But I think typically with these committees, it's, and to be clear, you're using the term associates, you're not using the term alternate, right?
Right, they're associates.
And so they're not voting, they're just there to help out. And so that to me just sounds like community volunteers, is really what that is, right?
They come, they come to our meetings. They're not held, they're not gonna be kicked off if they don't show up to everything, but it does play a part. So that when there is an opening, they have an opportunity to apply.
Yeah, they would go through the same application as anything else. So that sounds like a volunteer thing. I'm not exactly sure we
It's
need
just with
to.
a higher.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. Okay, well, then I think we're good on that. So let's move on. Yes. So the discussion regarding the use of $125,000 from UPD Kearns fund balance and applying it towards the 2026-2027 budget with Unified Police and Chief Levi Hughes, which he's not here.
We need more.
All right. So howdy. So I'm Lieutenant Nick Nelson. I will be subbing for Levi today. He unfortunately is stuck on a boat in the Caribbean.
Mexico.
Yes. Yes. Having a horrible time, I'm sure. He said he felt bad he was missing this, but yes, he's stuck there. So, so what we're doing with this is we have to try and go ahead. Sorry, what you have there?
So I do want to point out, this time last year, I was on a cruise to Alaska and I got COVID.
Well, he doesn't have much luck down there. Last time he went, he came back with some stuff. So we're crossing our fingers he comes back healthy.
You better quarantine him when he gets back.
That's the plan. We have a box. So currently, because of our spending the last few years, we've been able to generate a fund balance of roughly $450,000. This year, because we've had unexpected costs, well, they're expected, but every year you have increase in healthcare, increase with our URS system, increase with gas, all sorts of things that go up. We're going to look at taking $125,000 from that balance to help keep us solid through this next year. So that will mean that we will not have to do any other increases beyond just taking from what we already have, which is essentially our savings account. So it's rough, just over 25%. And then the anticipation is we don't foresee using all of that money, but we want to have enough so we don't have to come back mid-year and ask for more or have to make any other adjustments and that's to sustain our current operating tempo as it is now. So, and then there's also the anticipation with how we continue to budget and look at saving throughout the year that we would have the ability to add back to that fund balance at the end of the year. Any questions on that?
No. Levi dumbed this down pretty good for us.
Okay.
So is it typical for us to play outside of Slovisa for this position?
Yes. Sometimes, well, for the 125 for our fund balance, we've done that before. The other members of Slovisa have done the same, because as was discussed earlier, with the Slovisa cap being as it is, they can't ask for more money. They're capped at their percent. So as we go year to year, there are times we take from the fund balance to help balance that out. So that way we don't have to come back for additional taxes or anything of that nature.
And this comes out of our Met.
No, this one's just our existing
Okay.
fund balance as it is.
Not existing funds.
Yeah, what we're carrying into next year is roughly 450. We're just gonna take from that, instead of just having that money sitting in a pot, use 125 to build into those areas that we need to kind of shore up to get us through this next year without having to go back to Slovisa or any other location to fund it. So technically that money is part of the Slovisa money we have sitting in our budget. We're just using that for this specific purpose. Could be allocating it along the lines of our operating costs.
Okay.
Okay, we can move on to E, which is the discussion regarding addition of a new traffic car to Kearns precinct using the MET tax. And commitment to funding the traffic car for the foreseeable future beginning July 1st of 2026.
Yes, so this one is from the Met tax that was discussed before. As we've funded with other positions, which are the 2 officers and with our civilian, this would be that final portion. Since we had the separation from the sheriff's office, we had to make certain cuts. Obviously, we prioritized our patrol functions and certain investigative functions as well as COP. But what we did lose is we did lose an officer off patrol, which was a hit. And then in my opinion, most importantly, one of our COP detectives, which, as you've seen this last year, adding that back in has allowed more flexibility in our commitment to the community events, to responding to community issues like the parking issues and things of that nature. But we also added that other civilian position, which was our analyst, Faith, who I'll kind of get ahead of myself in terms of her report. She ended up getting, which I think he talked about this last go around, he being Levi, that we actually had her win Civilian of the Year.
Yeah.
So we had definitely take these funds and use them to the best of our ability. But the one missing piece is that traffic car. Kearns currently is the only area within our department that doesn't have a dedicated traffic car. It's currently shared amongst the patrol, COP, sometimes investigations gets involved. And as we know, Kearns has its traffic problems. Currently I don't know if you saw our counterpart walk out of the room briefly. He had to respond, well, assuming he was responding to it, they had a rollover just down the road. Last week, we had that horrible crash with the ATV. There are other things that have been kind of occurring. And there's a graph that we have that we can give you that shows since that separation, we've had a downturn in our ability to proactively engage with the traffic problems because most importantly, we were down officers. So we were just making sure we were getting to the calls, making sure we were getting those investigations done. So that kind of dropped a little bit in priority as far as immediacy. This only shows to 2025. As a reminder, coming into the 2026 calendar year, we were pretty well staffed. And we've been seeing a better increase in response to traffic issues and our officers having more time now that they've got more officers on their shifts to go out and be proactive about traffic. But we're still missing that subject matter expert that's out there every day. Again, it'd be designed to go out at all hours of the day, sometimes on weekends, to help address those issues. People using 54th like a speedway, pretending that Northwest Ave and Northwest is an actual freeway and not a residential street, trying to address those things. And then helping work amongst that team with the COP officers, with patrol, to help, and with Faith, our analyst, to best apply our other resources and how they can do it. And that'll also free up COP to address some of those other issues the community has on our day-to-day functions.
All right, I'm gonna ask it again.
Yes, go ahead.
Is this typical to ask for this outside of the Slovisa district shared service?
So with the Met tax, which is a relatively new addition to our city, that's what that money is earmarked for. There's roughly the 1.2 million in there for service costs with law enforcement and other aspects of public safety. And so that's kind of been sitting, not necessarily used. So that the Slovisa funds are specifically for funding what we absolutely need to make sure we function as a law enforcement department. What the Met tax allows you to do with Kearns is take some of that money that's taken from these different organizations that are providing certain services like the gas company and other entities like that, and put that towards public safety in your choosing. And so what we're asking is to take another bit of that money, which is here it's 109 the first year, because that includes the $30,000 for a vehicle And then roughly 180 to fund that position, taking that out, adding it to what we're already taking to help add specifically to the needs of Kearns. Other communities are working at doing the same, because again, a lot of communities like Kearns, like Magna, like up in the mountains, this is a new thing for them to look at. Typically, they've just relied on other funding sources, but now that we're a city, that's kind of changed. And with us not having the property tax that other places would normally use for this, that's where the Met tax comes in for us. It's what the county and the state kind of agreed upon to help allow you additional funding for these positions.
One of the biggest complaints I get in my neighborhood is traffic, speeding. We've had a lot of high-profile accidents lately on our main roads, and most of them are caused by speeding. Am I correct?
Yes.
I think that this is a no-brainer, and we need to definitely fund this.
And one addition to the speeding that we're seeing, obviously, on May 6th, they passed the new law for our e-bikes and what individuals are doing. That also will be a big, heavy priority of that. And I forgot to mention that as part of that team, we're actually taking the responsibilities that were one of our sergeants that was over the schools. That'll be transferred to myself. And that sergeant will now be over that COP problem-solving team to help with it. So he will help it add that traffic focus as well by just simply moving his responsibilities. But that's the stuff that we want to address pretty heavily.
So I know that there's been research that shows that traffic calming infrastructure recently put in place, such as speed humps, which we have many more in place
Thank you.
lately.
Yes.
And curb extensions actually helps more than a traditional way, which would be a traffic cop. Do you have anything to say with that, with us adding the infrastructure that we have to our neighborhoods? So we've been, as a city, we've been proactive, with the absence of not having the traffic cop. What would you say to that?
So I agree. I think I have them in my neighborhood and it helps out greatly, especially because the street above mine does not have that. And I see what they have to deal with. However, the one key element we're missing is like 5400 South, 62, 40th, and then some of those areas that don't yet have that traffic car can help fill in for those problems areas and add that presence in addition to the parking problems that we're having.
Plus
we do
have concert season.
Yeah, the concert season, being able to allocate them. There's also a lot of untapped money in terms of state grants that we're not necessarily accessing without having that traffic focus. We're able to take some of that money and apply it to that traffic car to help them enforce. In other ways, like you have DUI issues that we deal with as people come into our city from those events, especially you saw as they peel out onto 56 and down 54. Having the ability to apply that car there in those locations will definitely build dividends, especially considering we can apply that through those grant fundings. It doesn't necessarily cost you all anything other than just having it present.
Is there a prime concern with traffic? Is it illegal parking? Is it speeding? Is it all of it? What's the primary?
I'd say
prioritize it though.
So prioritizing for, I believe, the community members and what they feel the biggest impact is with the parking. That is a day-to-day, especially when you get the weather in, and that then creates its own hazard. We actually have a higher than normal hit and run count in Kearns because of those parked cars being in abstract locations and cars hitting them, upset the car was parked there in the first place, so they just tear off and never actually make communication. Safety aspect wise, while the e-bike situation is becoming worse for us, speeding is 100% our biggest problem. That's what caused the issue on Northwest with the ATV. What we had up on 56 with the family that was hit. And then we did have the DUI issue that was down over off of like near 7-Eleven on 54, where that gentleman smashed into the back of the family. And unfortunately, we did lose an infant in that crash. That's 100% speed related. And
I've had somebody on a e-bike blow through the intersection on Lodestone and Copper City twice now. Wasn't even paying attention to the cars around them, so.
Yes.
I have a question to ask before. What is the policy for traffic speeding on 54th? Because Levi said, well, we sit there and they don't go that fast sometimes, the last time I asked you that. I hardly ever seen them sitting on 54. Maybe I'm crazy, but I haven't seen that much where they're speeding on 54 that crazy.
So again, we do try and put cars there. They're just not as consistent as we'd like because they get drawn to other calls. So for example, we had a domestic violence call that came out earlier today, and it required every patrol car, 3 detectives, and myself to respond to it due to the nature of it. So that pulled everybody away from being able to do it. The traffic car, well, if there was a safety need, would still respond to something like that. As soon as there was no need for them, they go right back to traffic enforcement. And that's the key focus of this position. Unlike other traffic cars, it won't have any motor function, which I know motors are cool, but that motor function takes away because during the parade season, they're constantly gone doing stuff along that nature. Chief Hughes wants this car to just be 100% day-to-day enforcing traffic problems. And a big issue with that speeding and with the DUIs, you need a car to do that. We can work with other entities when it comes to certain other traffic issues, but when it comes to the day-to-day pulling vehicles over and making contact, especially considering that's one of the most dangerous things we do, having a sworn officer, as well as a dedicated officer who does that day-to-day so they can be the expert on all the laws we need to enforce, is going to be our benefit.
And I apologize for all of the questions. I talked with Chief about this a whole lot. And so I just wanted to make sure that we are presenting all avenues. Now, for background, I work in public safety. So I am not against public safety. That's number one in any city. It doesn't matter where you're at. And so I know Kearns recognizes that as an importance. I'm just trying to curate is getting one full-time sworn officer the best way to go about it? Have we looked into what it would look like if we went with civilian staff? Like, that's why I was trying to ask the question. Is it parking issues is the most concerning, or is it speeding? Is it both? Because if it's parking issues, basically you can get 2 professional staff for the price of 1 sworn officer, correct? And then you could still use maybe a retired part-time sworn officer to kind of relegate where that professional staff couldn't do.
Yeah, so while I think we can build ourselves into having that at some point down the road, due to the flexibility and versatility of that traffic car, I think that in addition to the improvements you're making with the city infrastructure, I think that's, I guess, the term would be best bang for our buck right now. But then as we expand and explore other options, then we can introduce some of that, especially with Kearns having some of the changes that have been spearheaded by Patrick in terms of getting us the better parking enforcement options. Having him there to help the traffic car there to not only just do traffic, but be able to respond to those as well is amazing. But at the end of the day, we need to have that flexibility to switch it on and off, to go from what would be considered a civil issue to switching back that may be code enforcement related or code related or city ordinance related to going back to state issues, state traffic codes, things along those nature. I think that's something we can definitely explore down the road. But right now, I think best bang for our buck, I would say, is having that traffic car, especially with the legal authority that comes along with the sworn position.
Right, no, and I agree. And that's all I had. And that's something that I would like to look into in the future, is looking more into what we could do with professional staff as well as, I mean, we see the great work that we already have with our sworn and our professional staff. So that's really all I had. I just wanted to make sure that I covered all of that before, we move on. And
I just got one question.
Okay.
So I know how much is money for the med taxes. And I know you guys everybody's got their own personal jobs, which is great. But in the long run, is 2 officers ever going to be on the table, or is it just always going to be 1 traffic cop?
I think right now, getting that 1 traffic cop is going to be, because they'll have the COP officers to help be
still
be there, help assist with it. Obviously I wouldn't turn down the second one.
Yeah,
but I think right now the one would definitely be sufficient for our needs to help organize the community.
And that's why I bring up professional staff doing those jobs, because then we can essentially get more than just 1, 2 professional staff for the price of 1 sworn. So that's kind of where I was looking at. There's options like that where we can go forward. And I also look at it as, once we've funded this position, there's really no going back. You can't get rid of it once it's there. not saying that's
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
would ever want to do, but it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so.
There's no going back
so-
after we're funded it.
So to the point, that's, I mean, with your budgeting, as you go forward, we're looking, as he mentions in there, he's looking at like indefinitely, basically the foreseeable future. But if we see the need to reallocate funding, that's the council's ability to decide, especially with that net tax. So that is something that could possibly be walked back. I mean, obviously, we don't want to take away jobs or anything, but if that money can be applied to even a different position as those other positions may come forward, that's a possibility. But yeah, I think again, bang for buck and what the applicability would be, especially with that, not having any other distractions besides traffic and coordinating it, would be able to help do that, as well as other things we've done in the past with these traffic cars.
All right, well, that's all I really had. You know, Kearns would operate when, and, well, it's a discussion.
Okay.
So, and then we can go forward. Do we have any other questions on this topic before we go forward? Go ahead, Nathan.
Oh, sorry. From a staff perspective, part of the reason why this is discussion only so the staff could get direction what you want to do, because if you want to do these, we would need to prepare some documentation. I think particularly with respect to the use of the MET funds, we would need an interlocal agreement and probably one on the 125,000 as well. So is the council inclined to do this? Because if you are, then we can prepare the documentation. I can work with Chief Hughes to get the specifics and we can then bring those documents back. If they need to be approved, I'm fairly certain the MET taxes will need to be approved through a interlocal agreement. So that will require your approval as well as the UPD board's approval. And if Chief Manager can send me the specifics on the $125,000 request, I can determine the best way to paper that. But right now we don't have any paperwork to approve. That's why it's a discussion.
Okay.
And we'll need the same direction on the My Kearns discussion as well. That will be a separate deal. That won't be a deal between you and UPD. That would be a deal between you and My Kearns. And I can discuss some of the specifics there that the mayor and I have been working on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Did we have any further questions for Nate?
No further questions?
I did.
I'm good.
You're good?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I think like I said, the only thing that I'd like to look into in the future is looking what SLCPD does with their community response team. If we are looking for additional officers after we already have this traffic cop in place, maybe that could be an option, looking for a civilian rather than another
Yeah,
sworn.
we're definitely willing to explore
Yeah.
everything. And West Jordan next to us has something similar to that.
I think it's, yeah.
Did you want me to cover our shareholder portion briefly before I leave real quick?
Go ahead.
So just as I mentioned, a couple of the incidents that I highlighted with the traffic, but also we had a couple incidents that demonstrate, in my opinion, that the law enforcement, obviously we're there to enforce, right? We're a force unto itself, but what we want to also highlight is when we're able to come in and help with what is the worst day of someone's life. And we had that a couple weeks ago. We had an unfortunate tragedy involving a young man, and the response from our officers was exactly what we would want it to be. They came in, established security, made everything safe for everyone, and then immediately moved into what can we do to best help this family. We brought out our victim advocate. We helped coordinate with their family to make sure religious personnel were brought in that would help with them. And as we learned that some of the members actually had bad experiences in the past with law enforcement, not necessarily us, but it is known to happen. We were able to help cater our response to that as well. And one thing to highlight on top of that as well is, in addition to helping there to support the family, take care of it, we had our shared services come in that does those types of investigations. They came in as the best way we would hope them to be, as professional as possible with the family, to work with them, not just come in and make demands like this is how the job's going to be done. They helped make things as easy as they could, considering how hard of a situation that is. And then the other one would be, we had one of our shared services unit is a special victims unit. Their primary job is obviously it's SVU, which is special with the special victims, is related to sex assault cases. And we had a child that was identified to be in immediate peril, and within an extremely short time, they were able to compile enough evidence to move on the suspect in a manner which helped prevent further harm from coming to those children. And it was extremely rapid. In less than 24 hours, they had the entire case essentially built against the individual. So a judge was willing to sign off on all the warrants. all the subpoenas to all the different data sources to be able to go in and serve that warrant, and do so utilizing our tactical team who was able to move in and help establish, and not just go in there and make sure everything went boom, but help render the scene safe, so it was able to extract the child safely and take him into custody as well safely so he can see his moment in court. So just 2 moments that we've seen recently with our ability to be as flexible as we can. Sometimes soft when we need to help families through hard times, but then when someone is doing what in my opinion, is the most wicked thing another human can do, we can come in and bring what we can, but also do so in a way that is effective and safe for everyone involved. So, yeah. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Did we skip over the bear tax? Is that what you're talking about, Nathan, that we don't need to?
That's the other, you had discussed this at the last meeting, and it sounds like you're inclined to do it, but what that requires is we'll need to do an agreement with Mike Kearns. So
Yes.
we tried to do something similar last year, but Mike Kearns has been administratively dissolved because they had to maintain their nonprofit status with the state. They've since fixed that, so they're now a legal entity we can enter into an agreement with. I think there's still a couple things, boxes they need to check that the MSP staff are working on. But I think for the most part, if you want, I can prepare an agreement with them that we can propose to you next month if this is the direction you want to take. Just to be clear, so I've talked with the state auditor's office. This is the same situation we were having with the community council, in the sense that whenever you give public money to a private nonprofit entity, there are certain things that need to be in that agreement. Now, my understanding is Mike Kearns, unlike the community council, gets funding from other sources. So this would just be one source of funding they would get to us. So our agreement would basically need to notify them of the state reporting requirements they have with the auditor's office, and we probably want to require them to comply with best management practices and have some sort of reporting back to us to make sure that they're actually using the funds for the purposes that we're giving them to, which I don't think should be a problem. So if that's what you want, we can prepare an interlocal agreement and bring that back.
Okay.
Yes.
Good with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the direction we were looking.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now we go.
All right, and now we will move on to Unified Fire Authority. Tyler Lenz. Thanks for hanging out.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us. Be able to share a few brief things with UFA. So just to refresh on what we talked about last month with the firework restriction map. If you guys notice something that you want to update, change, whatever, when you look at that map, reach out to me and then I'll just get back in contact with our area fire marshal. I reviewed it one more time. I still not seeing anything that we need to change on that. So some very frequent calls that we're starting to get right now this time of season. As soon as the sun goes down, we're getting people doing recreational fires in their backyards. So wanted to just brief everybody on the rules. The fuel area cannot exceed 3 feet by diameter or 2 feet high. You can only burn dry, clean fuels, no plastics, no rubbers, no gas. It's got to be basically dry, clean wood. And then you got to have a method of extinguishment readily available, such as a garden hose or a bucket of water. So we don't mind coming out and checking on these things, but just a heads up, that's frequent calls that we're going on right now. So just want to spread that message. We don't have Kearns Improvement District here, but I wanted to give a shout out to them. They have been super big on building relationships with Unified Fire and police. Crystal Butterfield was there. We did a first aid, CPR, AED demonstration for them. Really good turnout. I think it turned out really good. I think Crystal would agree.
Great turnout, yeah.
Yep. So we're constantly doing training with them. We're going to their confined space areas. We're bringing our specialty units over there. They're super engaged and active with making sure that relationship's built. So if we do have a natural disaster, we'll be able to work with them. So speaking of first aid, our next CPR class is May 13th. It's going to be in Riverton. It's at Station 124. That's off 126 South and 1300 West. We had a few people ask me last month when the next one's going to be, so I want to share that message. We didn't have any significant fires this month, which is a good thing. We did have 2 significant motor vehicle accidents requiring Station 109. That's our ladder truck, has extrication equipment on it, and they were able to successfully extricate the patients out of that vehicle with no issues. So our call volume is slowly increasing. It's that time of year where we're getting a little more calls. 109 ran 169 calls and 107 ran 130 calls. So we're just a little bit over 300 calls between the two stations. So 107's proven itself that it was much needed. So thanks for doing that. So do you guys have any questions for me?
I got one question. Who, is Kids the one that maintains all the fire hydrants?
Kearns Improvement? Yep, they do.
So I've had someone that sent me something saying there's a fire hydrant that's totally overgrown. And I can't tell. Would I talk to them to get a list of where they're at, pinpoint it?
Yeah, you could probably generate a list, give it to Kearns Improvement District. They
Okay,
can
I'll
take care
talk to Greg then about that.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
CERT training, are you guys still offering CERT?
I haven't heard if we're doing any sort of training. Chief Russell, have you heard anything on that?
That's something that we're working at for this next budget year, starting that up through information outreach.
Okay.
Currently today, we do not, but that is part of what the director.
Wonderful. Okay, yeah, I've had a few people ask me about it, so.
And the big thing with CERT, right, is we can provide that initial training, but it's really incumbent on the city. So if we start that CERT training up with you guys, it's gonna be a partnership to where you're gonna keep that team up and going and funded. So we can talk more about that offline and stuff.
Okay. All right. And then we met with Chief and you guys too, so last month, and had a pretty good meeting about budget and looked at the facilities out there, so.
Yeah, out of Magna.
Yep.
Fire training.
You guys did an amazing job showing us around and also picking through your guys' financials, showing us how lean you guys really are with your budget, down to, the copier machine. And that's the kind of stuff that the city council, that's what we want to see. We want to see where are you saving us as a whole money, so then we can further assist and support you when needed. So.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Chief Russell and the staff do a good job with that. So anything else?
Anybody else?
You want me to adjourn the meeting?
I like that idea.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Now we.
Okay, that's it, right?
8:58, look at that. I don't know if that's
Do we need a closed session for? Okay,
Not personnel and
Yeah.
property.
okay.
But you still have the future agenda items. So from my list, it's the agreements with UPD, the interlocal with, what would be an interlocal, the agreement with my Kearns. I think that Lisa with my office will be working with the Kearns Community Committee. Maybe they'll have an update on bylaws. We'll have the public hearing on the budget, a public hearing on the compensation for your officers. There's a little bit of gray areas to whether we need to do that. Let's just do it to be on the safe side, so don't fall for it. And then those are the notes that I have as to the things that we need to do at the next meeting, based on today's discussion. Did I miss anything?
That's what I'm just looking back at my,
the tabled items, or the football postponed items.
Yeah.
That
Put in there,
was
so
this one, so do you want me to put those on the next one?
you can put that, yeah.
Okay.
So we can start working on the package with that stuff. If you think of anything else, let us know. But we're trying to get this stuff done ahead of time so you guys are prepared. And you can focus more of your discussion on what to do rather than getting up to speed on.
Okay.
Great. Thank you all for hanging in there.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
No,
And go into close.
Yes, you.
Closed session and then adjourn after.
So the close would be to discuss matters of professional character, competence of an individual, and the acquisition lease of real property. Those are the two statutory purposes.
As opposed to fake property.
I always get confused on that.
Please do that.
So moved.
Yeah, there we
Okay, and then a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi. All right, guys, thank you. All right.
Thank you for coming, I appreciate it.
Oh, no. You guys are- There's tough decisions to make. Not everybody will ever always be happy. Try our best. At the end of the day, we're here. All about the city.
That's okay.
Yes.
I mean, what?
That's why I wanted to go into that. So everybody knows. But I.
I'm just saying, if you're running.
One more week.